No one could ever blow your mind like Lee Priest looked when he was 21 years old.
Fucking nuts, right?
It was, I walked in the gym and I remember like looking at him and saying, how is that even possible?
My most painful was losing to Lee Priest.
Ever think you have big calves? You don't. Lee Priest does.
For mental health, because I've been there when I was younger. I've tried to commit suicide a couple of times, cut my wrist when I was 19, and I was living out the back of a gym. I'm thinking, fuck, I should be pro now. I shouldn't be living out the back of a gym, eating baked beans out of a tin. So it's almost like I made myself get more depressed and more depressed to get the courage to do it type thing. So the worst thing you can do is be alone, because if you're alone and you're in that dark space, trust me, I sat there for like 2 hours. I made myself that depressed. Okay, I went, cut it. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's not like the movies. It started bleeding, but I'm thinking in the movies it fucking does this. So I put the knife in again, and it stung that bad, it snapped me out of it. But I'm thinking, how lucky am I? If I had had a gun, those compliments actually better than winning contests, because there's Jay Cutler, who was 4-time Mr. Olympia, and they asked him who was the freakiest bodybuilder you ever seen. And then Jay's like, listen, Lee Priest, he goes, and look, and I've stood on stage beside Ronnie, I've competed with Ronnie.
Yes.
So these politicians, whether it's America or Australia, they promise all this shit, okay, and people go, I'm going to vote him in because he said he's going to do this.
Yep.
If you haven't done that, then we should be able to kick you the fuck out, because you promised the people, I'll do this if you put me in. So we put you in on that promise. If over 6 months you haven't even started on it, then you're out.
Well,
I think I should be Prime Minister.
How many times were you banned?
3 or 4. Most of them were 12 months, and then one was about 11 months, and because I wanted to do the Olympia, they're like, if you pay a $5,000 fine, we'll lift the ban. So I paid $5,000 and did the Olympia. And because I just spoke about the politics in the sport, and I just didn't like the way the athletes were treated and stuff, so I spoke up about it. I don't have any animosity towards the IFBB at all, but this is the Mr. Olympia, the biggest show supposedly in bodybuilding, and the Arnold Classic can give out every prize money to all the competitors, and the GNC this year is giving out prize money to every competitor. So when you have a show like the Olympia where people have to qualify to be here, and you have the guy who came 15th, 16th training just as hard as me, and I get money and he doesn't, I just don't see it's fair. Yes, I will give them some of my prize money.
You said that if I don't give the money, you're gonna stand up and walk out of here.
Yeah, I will. but I did sit up last night and I did put it in writing, so. All the other athletes agreed, but none of them would speak up, so it's pretty dumb considering the athletes have all the power. We have the, if without the athletes, you don't have a contest.
And I tell you, we've got some hook baits here, man. Let me tell you, I don't know if we can use them. We'll have to ask you.
You can use them all.
Thank you so much.
If I said it, you have permission to use it.
All right, thank you so much.
Go do squats or lunges or fucking something. No one had those.
Are we going to be okay to put that one up as a short?
Yes, you can, yes.
Okay, Chris,
if you're doing hip thrusters and you're a man, go change your tampon.
You know when you've made it? When you've done 6 Olympians and start on the Ray Martin show.
Oh, yes, Ray Martin.
Freaky body parts is his thing. I need to ask him, will tank tops ever make a comeback?
Hope not.
Goes for a week to America, stays 18 years. Did he really retire Ronnie Coleman? And did he really blow Jay Cutler's mind that someone at 21 could look like that? Pound for pound, biggest bodybuilder. Winning it from the back. It's not an ass competition. 11 comps in 1 year. What did he do with his bodybuilding trophies? Furry creatures, people, furry creatures, people. Who wins? What is it about the greatest American hero?
That's a good TV show.
Okay, he's been banned. Please help me welcome the David Beckham of the bodybuilding industry. A small check and a cologne will do. Lee Priest. How are you, mate?
I wouldn't mind David Beckham's money.
That's what I mean. Like, it's all right.
Or even a cologne.
A small check or a cologne.
Yes, a cologne would be good.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Just have it smell like sweaty gym clothes.
No, well, that's
ammonia.
That's how we smell right now, isn't it? Well, let's start with a very serious question.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. Will tank tops make it back?
Hope
and what
not.
kind of clothing was that back in the 80s and 90s?
Well, I never wore tank. The only time you see me in a tank top was when I did photo shoots.
Yes, of course.
Or training videos for a thing, but I always trained in a t-shirt or a longer shirt because I didn't like looking at myself in the mirror. That's why, look, I give people credit because I look in the gym now and all these young kids with their phones training in tank tops, looking in the mirror. I'm like, you're spending too much time. Look at yourself. Just fucking train. And to me, I didn't need to see myself. It was more the mind-muscle connection. So if I looked at myself, I became very like, oh, that looks shit, that looks shit. So I'd rather not look at it. So I was never a tank top person, and they're the assholes that come into the gym now. I could be there for an hour doing legs.
Yeah.
And some skinny little noodle comes in his tank top and turns the fans off because he's cold. Well, put a shirt on, you cunt. It's like, Jesus. No wonder you're cold. You're just skin and bone.
But don't you think the fashion? I mean, it was pretty crazy fashion. We had the
Well, we had
the tights,
and we had the unitard.
Reebok pumps.
The unitards.
Yeah, and guys, guys were wearing the tank tops.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd wear them today?
You see some still wearing the string of tank tops now, but sometimes
Really?
you'll see guys take their whole shirt off in the gym. It's like, come on. It's like,
well, I guess.
the beach is okay, but not in the gym. It's like, you know, it's not just you. There's other people too who are general public that don't want to see that. And then, but even the girls, it's like, they get offended if people look, but it's like, the shirt you're wearing is called a sports bra. The name is in the title, bra. It's not a fucking top. Put on a little tank top. You've got girls with these little things that just holding their tits in. They got fucking these pastel coloured pants where you can see their camel toe.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they get offended if you look. I guarantee. And they even go to shopping malls like that. Look, I'm all for wearing what you want to wear. Yeah. But it's like if you're going in public and I can see your camel toe and your boobs are half hanging out, you can't get mad if a male looks at you if you're in shape.
You shouldn't.
If you or me went to a shopping centre in tights and you could see our fucking dick and balls, and if we'd been circumcised, I bet security would probably say, we've had a few complaints, can you cover up and leave? Or even in the gym, it's like, if a guy was laying on a bench and you could see his hardware, people would probably go, oh shit. So it's like, and the women too, it's like they bring their tripods, they're filming themselves for the internet, or Instagram, YouTube, but then they'll put up the video and go, look at this creep behind me looking at me. It's like, well, you hardly got no clothes on. But why are you worried about him looking at you when you're doing a video that thousands are going to see online? So,
Do you think it's, and then they try to give you a serious conversation and talk politics,
Yeah.
or how to eat well, or how to think well, and mindset. But when you look at them, you're not looking at them talking. You're going like, wow, look what you're wearing.
exactly.
And
And like I said, it's pretty much underwear, some of them, because their ass is hanging out.
What about? And I mean, it's. I don't know if it was back with you guys as well, but what is it with everyone pulling down their tracksuits now and they're wearing bad undies?
I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, let's prepare for us some good undies. Put
But
some
it's
Calvins
But it's
on.
even like, you got to just read the room. Like I said, I'm all for people wearing what you want to wear.
Yeah.
And that would be great in a perfect world.
But read the room.
But sadly too, like you see girls going to nightclubs, their boobs are, it's just like the top comes and just covers their nipples.
Yeah.
And some of the skirts they wear, they can't even sit down or bend over because here's their ass, the skirt's here. You can almost see their underwear. And look, if you want to wear that, that's fine. But you got to remember, you're going to a club or some rage. People are either intoxicated, on drugs. They're not in the right frame of mind.
Or don't have manners.
Yeah, and they're just gonna, they might say something,
Yeah.
they might try to grope you.
Yeah.
Sadly, some girls have been raped, and I'm not saying it's because of the clothing,
No,
but
no.
it's like, you wouldn't go into a fucking lion's den covered in meat, would you? Because the lion's gonna fucking be like, "Arr," and eat you, so.
And you probably want to make sure the line's eaten before you go in. So
And there's
everything's
also
planned, I
and there's
guess.
also too, when you go out, have a bit of self-respect. You don't need to show everything. It's like, you know, you're pretty much half naked. So you can't get upset when these people look. And like I said, you're going to get men who are pigs that are drunk on drugs. And sadly, they might try and do something. So read the room when you go out sometimes, you know.
I think that's the best thing I've heard. Read the room. Read the room. So I'm going to go back a little bit, just because I was watching, I was listening to a podcast that it was called The Search with the Spaniard.
Yep.
Your dad, he was into fitness?
No, my grandfather was.
Oh, right. I don't know where. I thought well, he said pops, and then you mentioned grandfather, and I got confused
Yeah.
by the two of those.
Grandfather was, yeah.
Grandfather. Okay, so your grandfather was into strength training, and even
Yeah.
at 72, he was leg pressing 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah? And he was the one that kind of got you into it.
Sort of, yeah, because he was always doing it. So I just started doing the push-ups and just basic training like that at home. So yeah, before I lifted weights.
And your mum got into bodybuilding. Everyone believes that she got into bodybuilding before you, but you got her into
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
and she got into it when I'd been competing from 13 to 17, so she got into it when I was 17. So
And you both did a couples comp together, and it's the only mother and son comp in to ever win in the world. Is that correct?
I think there was others after us, but we were the first.
The first.
First mother and son to compete together and win a national title.
Which competitions do that? Because I've never seen them. I don't
Well,
know.
you used to have couples competitions.
They don't
So
do it
normally
anymore?
it used to be, could have been just a guy and a girl from the gym that were compatible and they would compete together. Or sometimes I know back in the day, husband and wives would compete together if they were both into training. But yeah, they pretty much don't do couples anymore. So back in the day, you used to have like Tony Pearson and Carla Dunlop would compete together. So even like the IFBB in the professionals had couple competitions and that.
Wow. Okay. But you ended up on the midday show with Ray Martin. Now, just to tell everyone, that's like Oprah Winfrey.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. So tell me, and her show. So what were you doing there?
Oh, we just went down for an interview and that. Then I just had to take my shirt off and do some posing. So sort of embarrassing because I don't like taking my shirt off to pose.
But
so.
how did you get onto Red Martin? I mean, wow,
I'm
what
not
was
sure.
it?
Someone just contacted us and said that they'd like to have us on. So I think because it might have been in like the Newcastle paper and that. So I guess they scanned papers and thought it was a good interest story. So.
Okay, and you didn't get into bodybuilding necessarily because of bodybuilders, but because of He-Man.
Yeah.
And it's because you like freaky body parts.
Yeah, just like, yeah. And people always say, did I look up to Arnold and that? But it's like, I liked Arnold and that. But to me, it was like, I just like body parts, like Tom Platz's legs, Eddie Robinson's arms. There wasn't one physique that I wanted to emulate apart from the He-Man cartoon. But when it came to like actual bodybuilders, there was none that I said I wanted to look like him. I just wanted to build my own, his arms, his legs, and that sort of thing. So
Was Tom Platz, you reckon, one of the hardest trainers, bodybuilders?
pretty intense, yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yeah. I trained a year with Tom, so
Yeah, what was that like?
crazy.
Crazy, yeah?
Very crazy and intense. So
Is
yeah.
he seemingly an extrovert or is he an introvert in person?
No, he's pretty outgoing,
Is
very
outgoing?
friendly, yeah, very down to earth. So yeah.
There was a slight mention or something about the Hulk and 2003, obviously the movie that Eric Bana, but was there something involving you?
Yeah, I did like a lot of little movements for it. So I went up to Universal and did like a tryout for it. And there's other bodybuilders there. When I was leaving, they said the stunt coordinator wants to see you. So they called me back. And because I was in contest shape, you could see all the muscles moving, the veins. Ang Lee, the director, he had one of those motion capture suits on where you move, it just looks like a stick figure.
Yeah.
But it looked too animated. So they flew me up to George Lucas's studio and I was in like a big warehouse like this, and there's probably like 16 cameras around me.
Yeah.
And all the movements, the running, the jumping, when he's lifting stuff up.
That's you?
Yeah, they filmed me doing that, then they downloaded that to the computer and built the Hulk from that frame. And then when the second movie came out, I did the same thing for the video game.
So, you know when they do all the thank yous and there's little words at the bottom, is your name in there somewhere? No. Do we have to pause it?
If you search online, the Hulk Lee Priest, it'll say that they used me for it, but not in the credits. No.
When I was looking up, because I wanted to look it up, and Lou Ferrigno kept coming up because of being the original.
It came up on a lot of, like those people have those movie websites where they talk about up and coming movies and how they're going to do it. Is it going to be CGI? And they're like, yes. And they're like, well, they based the CGI off bodybuilder Lee Priest. So.
Have you done many movies or shows? I know you did the pizza, Fat Pizza. Didn't you do Fat Pizza?
I did Fat Pizza, 2 seasons of that. And then I did Local Council.
Yep.
It's still on 7, mate. You can look that up.
Okay, yeah.
Have you had the 7 Plus app?
Yep.
I play a parking cop on that, just writing tickets to everyone abusing them. Then you got that last one, Outback Comedian. I'm on that playing Paulie Security.
Oh, yeah.
There's another movie, full-length movie called Dumb Criminals.
Yeah.
I'm in that. That's like the whole gang in that. Then I did, I got an award, Best Supporting Actor. It's a 7-minute film for Trot Fest.
Yes.
Where it's called, Round Trip.
Yeah.
And it won a lot of awards. It's only a 7-minute thing, but it's a pretty trippy movie. If you watch it, it sort of goes in a circle. But it's called Round Trip. It's on YouTube.
Is film a side passion of yours, or you just like doing it?
I never go out looking for it, but if things come along, I do it. But it's not one of those things where I'm going to be like, I don't have an agent that's getting me parts and getting me roles and stuff. But if something comes up and someone asks me, I do it.
And so you didn't go to NIDA?
Most of the top actors did it. A lot of them just ended up where they were. Look at Harrison Ford. He was just carpenter on the set. Someone didn't turn up for Han Solo. He goes, I'll give the part a go and have a read. And
no way.
Look at Paul Hogan. Was a fitter on the bridge.
I
And
know.
Goes on TV, does a bit of comedy. And so most people, when you hear about them, like Pamela Anderson, she was at some NFL match or it could have been baseball, and the camera just found her in the crowd and So you get all these people that pay all this money to go to these classes, but some of these people just right place at the right time. And someone sees them and go, hey, that's the person for this role. And yeah. Well, I was meant to be in Adam Sandler's 51st Dates, you know, with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I was meant to play the brother who was always training and on steroids and that, but my manager at the time forgot to send the tape in. I had the script, so when I went to watch the movie, I knew it off by heart. Oh. It's like they were going to get someone to teach me to do it in an American accent and stuff, so but I missed out on that, which sucks because normally if you get in one of his movies and he likes you, he uses the same people in pretty much all his movies, so.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I know they do that. Listening to you, like, what were you like at school growing up before bodybuilding?
I hated school.
All right, but you hated school, but were you... All right, I was a daydreamer.
I was the class clown.
You were the class clown.
Making people laugh, and
right,
the
so
teacher's like, you say another word again, so I'd say something funny and get out. I spent more of my time in the office, but I used to paint a lot of stuff in art, so a lot of my paintings were hanging up near the office. So
really?
If I got sent to the office, that's okay. I could sit there and look at my paintings on the wall.
So were you... I sense you've got some, like, if you wanted to apply yourself academically, you could do it. It just seems like that's in your nature,
pretty much
right?
People say if I want to do something and I enjoy it, I can do it. Like when I got to the racing, if I enjoy it and I don't feel like it's work and I have fun doing it, then I normally do good at it. But if I'm almost doing something I don't want to do, then I'm like, I only give it half. So actually, when I started training, the guy I trained with had his own company. And when I was 14, he offered me a job. So my mother had to write a letter to the school and I left school early. And
did you, before you left school early, did you have any kind of aspirations besides art? Did you want to be an artist? Did you want to be something?
Probably
like a plumber or a mechanic,
pilot, policeman, or something like that.
A pilot or a policeman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there was something about applying some study towards it, and you do study it. So, all right. So we'll go.
Yeah, I've been up in a jet, flown a jet, and done rolls in a jet.
Wait. So you've sat in the passenger seat.
Yeah, it's like an L39 Albatross. And of course, the guy knew that I had done dragsters, same sort of G-forces and that. But that was like, it's hard to see, but this here, that was, I put music to it, but that was me flying there. And then I go in the barrel rolls.
Wait a minute, that's you flying. I'm not saying you're not the passenger. You're the pilot at that moment.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you're listening, like, you can hear him giving me instructions. See, he's telling me now. That's like him talking to me.
Yeah.
I just move it up a bit. You'll hear him like, he's telling me like to go this way now, straighten up, listen. Up you go, he's telling me, see?
No way.
And listen, he'll be like, whatever way you want to go.
Is that you now?
Yep.
You're fucking nuts, man. Oh, fuck off. That's crazy.
I've done all that, so.
But so you assimilate very quickly.
Yeah, just like I said, if I enjoy something, I sort of catch on really quick.
You do catch on quick. Wow. Okay. So.
Well, I said when I got into the racing and that, my very first race, I won it because I enjoy it. It's just like fun. If I find something fun and I have fun doing it, I just.
Hey, I'm Jamie from Pawtion.
And I'm Steve, Muscle Talks Podcast.
And we heard that you guys are very into clean eating for yourselves, so we figured we'd educate you a bit about clean eating for your dogs. That's why Pawtion has decided to partner with Muscle Talks and give you promo code MuscleTalks25 for 25% off your first order at pawtion.com.au. That's pawtion.com.au.
And if you continue ordering through Pawtion, please use Muscle Talks 10, and that gets you with continued orders 10% off. We're quite excited to be part of Pawtion. I've got a few dogs running around us just as I talk now. So please support not only good eating for ourselves, but I'm sure you want to promote good eating for your loved one, your pet, your dog. So go to pawtion.com.au and use for your first order Muscle Talks 25 to get 25% off your first order, and then continued orders Muscle Talks 10. All right, so when did you take up car racing and dragsters?
Probably around 04, because I had a guy come to the expo who was a drag racer, but then I met another guy who did road racing, and I just became friends with him and started doing that, and I won races doing that, then circle track. Then I met another guy that had a race school, so I used to go drive his race trucks and won races there. Then when I got to the dragsters, I went to Frank Hawley's drag racing school, and they had a grad race where they bring back a lot of the top racers from the school.
Yeah.
And I won that race, was my first race. And then one of the guys who ran the school as well had a few extra cars. He's like, Lee, do you want to come drive one of the cars? You know, sponsored by Lucas Oil and Toyo Tyres. I said, sure. So my first year in the dragsters, I got Rookie of the Year and third in the championship.
Yeah.
You know, to win the championship, you got to do pretty much every race and get the points. So the following year, so I'm going to try and do every race I can, and I won a lot of them. And that year, I won the championship. So.
If anyone asked me to drive, I mean, I don't know. So when someone throws you the keys, you go, all right, thanks, let's give it a go. Yeah. Basically. They just throw you the keys, you're like, yeah, all
You
right.
got to like get your license to do it, but then you
No, but forget about all the license bit.
Yeah.
If someone threw me the keys for a dragster, I'd be
well,
like...
there's no keys, it's just push button start.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean. Like what I'm getting at is I'd be kind of like hesitant going, are you
Well,
sure?
at first when you do it, because it's like you're doing the quarter mile, and the alcohol dragsters were doing it in like just over 5 seconds, and you know, you're going from 0 to 100 in 0.8 of a second. It's like being shot out of a cannon. You got 5 Gs. You pull a parachute, you got negative 5 Gs, so you're like that. But
What's the preparation before the 5 Gs? Do you have to do certain things to get
you
yourself?
just get in there and wait. Then you just sort of. It's funny when you first go to do it. There's probably 20 steps. You know, you go over with turning the fuel on and shutting this off and turn that on and getting it in. And then you have, if you're doing the super comp racing, you got a trans brake button. Like, you know, the alcohol drags us first across the line, but then you do the bracket racing. That's where you go, okay, I'm going to run 7.2 seconds or 7.20. And then that's the time you're going to get. The guy beside you could be going to run 8 seconds. So, like, it's funny because he might leave first, and that's the hardest thing because when he takes off, you want to take off. So he'll take off first, and you've got to catch him. And if you catch him, if I put in, I want to do 7:20 and I do 7:19, I lose because I broke out. I went too quick. So you've got to try and get as close to your number as you can without, you know, you can go over a bit, but as long as you didn't go over more than him.
How does someone do that in fucking 7 seconds, man?
Well, you just, like I said, you just got to look out the corner of your eye and see where he's, and it's like a chess match. You're moving in or doing this, or if you're going too quick and you tap the brake, you might tap it too hard, and then he goes and goes past you. So
does the world come to a halt when you're drag racing for some reason?
Well, it's funny. Like when you first go for your license, there's so many things you got to do. It's like so quick, but it's true. The more you do it, things slow down. I could do it and look over, and like I see my wife in the audience. She's actually
no way.
Yeah, it's like because your mind just adjusts to it. So you.
That's what I was going to say. You must assimilate all.
Like
to
we
it.
had a thing in Vegas once. I used to have before the big races, they'd have like a grudge match or a winner takes all. So I'd always win good money there because one of them had like 150 races. You pay $30 and it's whoever gets closest to their time. And it's also a reaction time as well. Because in those, once you line up and the lights start coming on, you accelerate and you don't have the brake, you just got a button here. That's what's holding the car. So when the light finally starts counting down, you just let the button go and boom, off you go. So yeah, so I put in like 8 seconds. So it was like whoever gets closest to their time and that wins all the money. So 150 people put in $30 and I'm listening to them as they're going ahead of me. Such and such just ran. He put in 7 seconds and he ran 7.02. I'm like, oh, fuck, that'd be hard to beat. So I go up there, I go, take off, come around. As you come off the track, they got like the booth there that gives you a time slip. Yeah. My friend Thomas was there who owned the team. I said, how did I do? He's like, you probably just pissed everybody off. I said, why? He goes, well, you're going to run 7:20. You ran 7:20 dead on, and your reaction time was 0:00. So it's called the perfect run.
What the hell?
So,
I'm mesmerised by all that. I'm still trying to work out.
So all weekend when I was racing, like, here comes Lee Priest who had the perfect run.
So you got to take the prize money home. Oh. That's all. Awesome. So,
but getting the perfect 0:00 is very.
I don't think.
If I'd have been
is it possible?
If I'd have been 100,000 quicker, I would have went red. I would have taken off too soon. So anywhere, like a lot of reaction times are pretty quick. Anywhere in the teens or in the tens is quick because it's like your eye doesn't register. It's like 0.004 of a second for your eye to catch on.
But that's what I'm saying is I don't know if you could repeat that again. It's very hard to
I got close a couple of times with like 0:02 or 0:04 and that, but normally I was in the teen marks. So yeah, anything like that's good because it's so quick, you're close to going red and bumming out. Then it's okay if 2 of you go red, then the one who went red the most, he loses. So
I'm trying to think when I mean, not that I endorse street drag racing. But just to line up next to somebody, the adrenaline that's going.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
The
and
worst
you've
thing
got
I-
this. If you've got this top fueler thing going on in
And
front
some
of you.
days it's like, you know, the heat in the car because you got like a 5-layer suit on, you're
Yes.
belted in, your arms are strapped to your belt in case you crash, your arms can't go anywhere, so you're
Really?
locked in.
Wow.
And then it gets hot if you're just waiting. If someone blows up and you got to sit, sometimes you get out. I'll stay in the car because it's too much hassle to get out and get in. But then some days we go to tracks and it'll be cold in the morning, and as you're waiting, you'll be at the light waiting, you start breathing, it fogs you.
Oh, no.
So now it's like, fuck, I can't see. And it's like, you can just see it, but as soon as you take off, the air clears it, but your adrenaline starts going because it gets so foggy, and you're trying to breathe like that, so you're blowing the air out of your helmet so it doesn't fog up your helmet.
I just. Well, I don't know if it sounds like fun, man, but God's sake, it's adrenaline. And obviously, that's what. I mean, I can't believe you flew a jet. I mean, that's hilarious. You and Tom Cruise should hang out because like he does everything too. So we knew that 2013 was your last comp, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to know, did you know leading up to that was going to be your last comp? Or was there other times that you felt like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to
That's my comeback, and I won the Universe, and then 2014, I was just promoting NABRA and that. In 2015, I was getting ready for the Worlds, and that's when I got T-boned in the car, and that's what ended the competing.
That's what. So you really didn't want to retire. It's
The car
and-
crash.
All right, because I don't know this, and many might not know why Lee retired. So in 2015, going well, training hard, everything's looking good. What happened? Where was the accident? What happened?
In Newcastle, just got
In
T-boned
Newcastle,
and
yeah.
crushed the nerves in my neck, so I got muscle atrophy in the tricep, chest and back, so sort of froze the balance off a bit, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I did not know that. Maybe didn't
Had
know.
2 neck operations and still not that good.
No? No, we'll talk about that stem cell thing, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we spoke about kid. You grabbed weights, you said, at 12, correct? That's when you first kind of grabbed your weights. Which was the first gym you walked into?
Police Boys Club
Yeah?
in Broadmeadow.
Broadmeadow? I remember the Police Boys Club.
Yeah.
I used to go there and break dance.
Okay. Well, I originally started going there for gymnastics, like the rings and the hobble horse and all that.
Yep.
But because I'd get there after school and it didn't start till like 5, I'd get there about 3:34. I'm like, oh, while I'm waiting, I'll go in the gym. And I just started liking the gym more, so I stayed there.
Okay, so that
And
was
then from the gym, I went to Nautilus, Newcastle, where I met Paul Haslam and started training there. Then Paul opened up his own gym.
Which gym did Paul have beforehand?
High Tech Fitness
Where was that at?
in Belmont, just a suburb of Newcastle. So
Okay.
started training there.
And then was City Gym after that?
I think Paul was in Newcastle forever. That was like a long time till he moved down to Sydney. Yeah.
What was City Gym like? Because that had a lot of
So,
personality.
I didn't really go in the
You
city.
didn't train that one?
No, I think I've only ever been there 2 or 3 times.
I used to
I
go-
lived in Newcastle, so
I used to go train there, and I always wondered what the hell people were doing there at 5 in the morning and 4 in the morning. And that's when I realised the world was up and running and everything was going. So your first comp at 13, what was that comp again?
Sydney Classic
Yeah. And what did you place in that?
first.
First. And then,
I did 3 shows that year and won them all.
yep. And then you won 3 Australian titles at 17, 18 and 19. But you had no pro card yet.
No, said I was too young to turn pro.
But then you were invited to America.
Yeah, I was going over to do Niagara Falls amateur show.
That's
and
right.
that.
And then Jim Mannion.
Yeah, he saw me and contacted Wayne Demille, I think they contacted Paul Graham. They
Yes.
said, okay, give him his pro card. So I did the pro Niagara Falls show.
And then so that 1 week turned into 18 years. Where'd you live in America?
Venice area for like 9, almost 10 years, and then Texas for 4, and then Scottsdale, Arizona for 4.
Which part of America was your favourite?
I liked it all. Austin, Texas was good, a lot like Australia, lots of trees, hills and lakes and that.
Yeah.
People more laid back, whereas LA area is more rush, everyone wants to be somebody and, that sort of attitude. So.
Was there many times you wanted to come back to Australia or?
Many.
Many?
Well, that's why my mum would always call up and go at the end of the conversation, I love you. I go, okay, bye. She goes, you never say I love you anymore. I'm like, yeah. Because I was always close to my family, we lived on the same street. So I saw him every day. So then to go over there and be by yourself for a long time. And
That was hard.
they'd call up at Christmas time and I'm like, oh, you're all together, I'm here by myself. I'm going to go to Denny's, diner
Yeah,
by myself. So I just sort of cut off because I knew if I thought about it, I'd want to come home. So I just sort of made myself cold and cut off.
So you're a family, so it was pretty tough to be over there, away from your family, and you had to fight hard, not just because for the bodybuilding part, but for yourself to stay there and do it all.
Yeah.
And would that be the hardest moment of bodybuilding?
Probably, because you miss out on a lot of family things and that. Then people pass away when you're over there and stuff. So yeah.
Also, obviously, there came a time when because I didn't know why you were banned. I really. So tell us about
many reasons.
the controversy firstly, and how many times, if there's times, how many times were you banned?
3 or 4, and then I got the lifetime.
What does 3 and
ban.
4 mean? Like, how does 3 and 4 work? Like, did you have a 6 month, an 8 month?
Most of them were 12 months, and then one was about 11 months. And because I wanted to do the Olympia, they're like, if you pay a $5,000 fine, we'll lift the ban. So I paid the $5,000 and did the Olympia. But yeah, then I had another one where it was 1 year, then they made it 2 years. So I was banned for 2 years. So because I just spoke about the politics in the sport, and I just didn't like the way the athletes were treated and stuff, so I spoke up about it. All the other athletes agreed, but none of them would speak up, so it was pretty dumb considering the athletes have all the power. We have if without the athletes, you don't have a contest.
But it's like the real world. Without the, we have the power over the politicians, but we give the
I've
power
always
to the
said that.
politicians.
Now my wife gets mad. I say, listen, we get sick of it. I don't mind paying tax if they use the tax dollars for what it's meant to be used for.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to help other fucking countries. Help your own country first.
100%.
And I said to my wife, I said, what could they do? June 30th is the tax day. If every Australian just said, fuck you, we're not paying our taxes, what could the government do?
Nothing.
They can't throw us all in jail.
There's no room now.
They can't fine us. And if they did fine us, well, we're not going to pay our tax, so we're not going to pay the fine. What are you going to do? So, the government actually needs to listen to the people. I think they forget. I get sick of hearing, we understand. You don't understand the real world. You see it in American politics here. They've got no clue what the real families and people go through these days. They're living on their high wages. My mum and that's retired. They get hardly fuck all age pension.
I know.
And these politicians retire. Some of them have 6, 7 homes. And some of them get like $200,000-300,000 a year for life once they retire. Yeah. And then like Mike Baird, who was the Premier of New South Wales, he retired. Well, first he used to help the banks when he was in. How convenient. And then when he retires, he goes to work for the bank.
Yeah.
$1 million a year plus his $300,000 pension. To me, it's like if you're a politician, you're a public servant. Once you retire, you should get what every hard-working Australian gets. Because like if my mum or anyone that's on the pension, if you make extra money, they cut your pension back and shit. But yet politicians can get $200,000-300,000 a year and get a job for $1 million on top of that. So to me, it's like, I never even liked governments where it's like Labor, Liberal. I said, why do we got to have Labor, Liberal, Greens? I said, because these people say, let's do this. And the opposition's going to be like, no, we're not doing that. They spend all this money fighting, doing this and that. Nothing ever gets done. To me, a government should just be made up of the people. I'd like to see a government where it's made up of real people, truck drivers, taxi drivers, miners, people that have run a local fish and chip shop, like real people that, mechanics. And if you get like 200 people like that, you're going to have disagreements here and there, but I think overall they could come together and know what's best for the country and what's best for the people, because we have these politicians who do what's best. Look now with all these politicians and Qantas. Now you understand why they're getting all these upgrades on Qantas, majority of them fly Qantas. Now you understand why the Australian government wouldn't let other airlines come in and be competition. So it's stupid.
Yeah, but I don't know, do any of these guys really know business, these politicians? Have they been in business?
A lot of them just carry on. It's like they're probably the old days of the brown envelope. And like in Texas, my friend used to work for the Senate there. And he'd tell me a lot of them got caught out because, I'm sure it goes on here too, it's like, I think here in Australia, similar to America, where, they, by law, they've got to put out, if something needs to be built, they send out things to get quotes for it.
Oh, yeah, tenders.
But generally, they've already got the top 5 or 6 they use all the time, but by law, they've got to ask for them. So, and like I said, majority of the time, you could be my friend and you're a good electrician, so I'm always going to give you the work. And the money they pay, it's like the job might be worth 1 million, but you're going to build a government 10 million. You might give me a kickback of that money as well, but in a roundabout way, because a lot of politicians in America were getting caught because, let's just say, they need a vote to pass this thing that could be worth $2 billion. And some people are holding out. Whoever the company is goes and sees that politician and goes, listen, you give us the yes vote. So to this company, it's worth billions. We'll give your son a job on the board. He would never have to come to work, but we'll give him $400,000 a year and just say he's on the board of directors. And so that shit goes on all the time. So.
But if we know that, how are we allowing it? I was just
I
telling Chris
don't
that in
even
the
know
car.
how we allow.
How do we allow that?
If say I had to come and.
If we know that, but how do we allow it?
Well, say you want a swimming pool. Well, I think people are just giving up. It's like.
But that's what I'm saying. Is
Like people go on Facebook and write shit or on stuff and say shit, but in the real world, it's almost like if you've got a wild tiger and put it in a cage. For the first couple of years, it's probably wants to get out. After a couple of years after that, it's like.
But that's what I'm saying that's what they're doing to us?
I think we're just being beaten down. People have just. It's like I've always said. You get one piece of string, you can go like that and snap it. Like one person, two people, you can snap it. But if everyone come together and we intertwined it, like this piece of rope. It's like that rope that will hold a ship. You're never going to break that rope. So people need to come together and stand together because the people have the power. Somewhere along the line, they've forgot that. We're like, oh, what can we do? It's like, you can do a lot. So like I said, with the way these things go on, it'd be like, look at the light rail in Sydney. It went, 100 million over budget? I don't understand that. Because if I'm the government, you come to me. Say I say you got the light rail. I say, okay, I want to put the light rail in Sydney. And you give me a quote, okay, 200 million. I agreed to the quote. Then how down the line can it be like, wait a minute, budget's gone over, another 100 million. I'm like, oh. And they sign off on it. It'd be like, if I put in swimming pools and you come to me for a quote, I say, okay, I'll put your swimming pool in, do all the decking, 30,000. At the end of the job, I can't go, well, fuck, it's going to be actually 80,000 now. You're not going to pay for that. You're going to be like, listen, you gave me a quote of 30, that's what I'm paying. So I don't know how the government can get these quotes for millions, agree to it.
Because it's not their money, man.
I know, and then these people come back and say, wait a minute, we're going to need another 50 million. And I'm the government like, oh no, this was the quote you give us. We're not giving you any more.
It's not their money.
I know, and that's the thing.
If it was your money, it'd be different.
Exactly.
It is your money.
It is.
But what the funniest thing is, and I've calculated it, not that I'm good at maths, but we're predominantly, 35 or 45% taxed. Then we buy shopping tax, we put petrol tax, we do road tolls tax.
We're one of the most taxed countries.
What I mean is...
Well, I've always said, to me, I don't like income tax. To me, it's like...
that's right. Income tax should be wiped and do consumer tax. Yeah. So if you want to go out more and buy more and do more...
Well, I've always said that. I said, look, even the GST is like, 10%?
Yeah.
I said, put up to 15, but get rid of the income tax because... And to me too, if you're working overtime, you should not be taxed on that because people work overtime and it's almost like 50 cents of the dollar gets taken. If you're going to give up time with your family and do stuff, you shouldn't have to pay tax. To me, it's like you put the GST up. If say you got paid $1,000 a week, but they take the tax out and now you're going home with 600 or something. If you could go home with 1,000, guess what? You're going to go out and buy more stuff. You're going to take your family out maybe more on holidays.
Yeah.
You're going to buy more, maybe a new TV, a car. If you've got more money to spend, you're going to spend it, and then the government can get its money in tax that way. But taking it out of your wages all the time is just ridiculous.
Look,
and then not to mention, if you own a company, you've got to pay payroll tax for those employees on top of that.
Well, when you get a great pension as a politician, is if you're going to rock the boat.
Exactly.
No one's going to rock the boat.
And that's the thing too. Look how many pay rises they get. They don't have to take that. There's one politician saying, if they say we're going to increase the police wages, they do not have to accept it, but they do.
But how do they get pay rises? That's what I don't understand.
There's some group they said that dishes it out, but I think, come on, it's like, to me they're like, oh, you got to pay them good because to get the best people. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. I want. Say this politician's job is getting 300,000. You'd be like, fuck, I'll get that. I'm doing it for the money. You're not doing it for the good of the people or anything else. But if you're only paying them 80,000, like a lot of other people's wages, then you know they're there for the love of the job, not the money.
Can it ever be fixed? I don't think it can be fixed.
Yeah. You could, like I said, if people united and stood together. But sadly, it seems like America, Australia, we only come together when there's a crisis of some sort, but then it's only for a week or two, then we go back to hating each other again.
I think they know that. I think they know they'll come back for a week or two, they'll be gone.
Well, they know, just like I said, by dividing us, whether it be race, whatever. I remember Christmas time, it always comes up and people start hating the Muslims because the government comes out saying, this shopping centre not going to play Christmas carols because it offends the people who don't celebrate Christmas. And I've got Muslim friends. They're like, Lee, it doesn't bother us.
I know.
They're like, you celebrate your things, we celebrate our things.
Yeah.
But they said, we still enjoy Christmas even though we don't celebrate it. But the way it comes across is the Muslims don't want it. So then everyone's like, fuck the Muslims. But they're like, Lee, it's not us. We don't care. But yet everyone hates on us because they think we're the reason why these shopping centres don't play the music.
I've gone to their Ramadan festivals
Yeah.
and I've enjoyed myself immensely. And actually, I'll tell you what I like about Christmas.
Like you said, and you see a lot of them will enjoy, even though they don't celebrate Christmas, they'll still partake in stuff.
I'll tell you what I like about it too. On Christmas Day, Hardcore Gym in Carlton, who's owned by these Lebanese guys, wonderful gym, they're open on Christmas Day. I love it.
Exactly.
And once upon a time, forget about Anytime Fitness and everywhere else.
I remember gyms were always shut on Sunday.
That's what I mean.
Every
but
gym.
But I loved it. I used to go because the fact was I celebrate Christmas, but it's not as wild and as big. My kids are older.
Well,
But
some people, you know,
I love going for a workout on Christmas
Some
Day.
people don't. I remember when I lived in America, they're always open and movie theatres are open because not everyone celebrates Christmas. Some people don't have families or don't have things, so they want to go do stuff. So you got to, you know, it's just ridiculous. But they said the government, the media, they all divide us, and we're just too busy fighting amongst ourselves over stupid shit. When
What happened with hating just a used car salesman now? Now fucking the used car salesman we trust.
I know.
So your post and
It's always a one owner, highway miles.
I know. All right, we'll throw you in the floor mats.
Yeah. I know, isn't that weird now? Like floor mats used to come in the car.
I know.
Now they're extra.
Oh my God,
I'm
all
like,
the
fuck, I have to
extra.
pay for the doors and the steering wheel too.
Yeah, of course.
But here's
of
the thing,
course.
I used to always hate car salesmen because I did it once. It's like you buy a car and you look on the window, it could be just a basic Commodore, but then they've got the next one where it has the mag wheels, the tinted windows, and it says mag wheels, extra 4,000, tinted windows, 1,200. All these extras, they add onto the price. And if you take that same car back to trade it in, they'll say, we'll give you 10. You're like, what about the wheels and that? We just go by the base price of the car. So I did that once. So I went home, took the mags and all that, put the original wheels back on, took it back. They're like, what happened? I said, well, you only give me the base price of the car. There's the base fucking car then.
Wow.
And he was so pissed. I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to give me 10, but when you advertise, you're going to advertise the mag wheels and all these extras. So why don't they count when I go to resell it to you?
I know, and they always take you to the car on the stand.
Oh, yeah,
in the middle of the
not
show,
shiny.
and you go, yeah, and they go,
Under the lights.
and then when they tell you what it's worth, you go, what's that one without everything on it?
Well, it's like you go to, say, JB Hi-Fi, you're looking at TVs. And it's always the most expensive one, looks like 3D, because I had a friend once, he goes, you would sometimes go in there, used to work there. Like, a lot of the TVs looked exactly the same, whether it be the Hyacinth and the Sony, Panasonic. So people go for the bigger names. But, you know, they get the people in there where they get the colour right, the filtration right. So you're looking at it like, wow, it looks like I can touch it. Now, this TV beside it's half the price of this one, looks just the same, but they turned the contrast down. So you're like, the picture's not as clear there. So you keep going back to the...
What's funny is when you buy a TV and they've given you all the glasses and everything, you've got like, mate, this thing's infrared, this and that, whatever it is. And then you go home and you go, Channel 9, Channel 10. Channel 7. Like, you don't do anything with it. You think you've brought all the goodies home.
I've got a smart TV, get on the internet with it. And
you go, Channel 7.
But it's like, I
Channel
think
9.
technology's going too crazy. I remember when the clapper come out, like, and the lights would come on. I said, look, if you're elderly or disabled, that's great. If you're a normal person, you're that fucking lazy, you can't turn the lights off. And now it's all on their phone. They've got apps on their phone. I can turn the TV on before I get home. I can turn that on before I get to sleep.
What about everybody switching on the lights for the cat?
I know. Or you got the fridges that tell you what you need. Or you can touch the thing and it tells you need milk. I'm like, how about you open the fridge door and fucking have a look? Or I got friends that have those electric toothbrushes. I'm like, what, you're too fucking lazy to do this? You just go...
Chris has had an argument with AI. Chris has called out AI. I always believe Chris is a walking AI. If you wanted to know what AI looks like, that's Chris. Right?
Yeah.
But talking about... Because I wanted to go back, and you've got it on your post on the 7th of September 2024. So I guess we can talk about it with Bob Ciccarello. Talks about this not talking out, or you didn't do anything about it. And I believe it was about a prize money discrepancy at the Olympia, right? And apparently no one wanting to do anything and just having a big mouth, Lee. Yeah. But there is you at the pre-contest press conference.
Yeah, handing Wayne the letter, yeah.
Yeah, and you've got, and what's his name, the announcer.
Wayne D'Amelio.
Yeah, and he's saying...
put it in writing.
Put it in writing, and you go...
I did.
Here you go. And when I saw that was gold. And not only you...
From that day on, everyone got $2,000 out of the top 10. Because if you weren't in the top 10, you didn't make any money. And I didn't think that was right because you call it the Super Bowl of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So the guy that comes
15th, you said.
15th or 10th,
And train as hard as you.
12th, yeah, so they should at least get something. So from that day on, they all got $2,000.
But why do you care, Lee? Because let me stop for a second. Let me go on a little bit more. That podcast I spoke to you about today that I listened to, and you trained at World Gym, and what was the owner, the guy's
Joe
name?
Gold.
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair. You used to go shopping with him, help him shop.
Yeah.
He would come and see your contest. You even, I think, jumped on a plane with him once to help him.
I'd always help him, yeah.
No, but why do you help people? Like,
I think it's just the way I was brought up from my
That's what I'm trying to say.
grandparents,
I think I'm not like you. I get it. And all bodybuilders look scary when they're built, and all bodybuilders with tattoos look scary.
Yeah.
But you're not. You have an opinion. You speak very openly and honestly. Everyone. I could see even in our conversation today, everyone could take your words and work it against you.
Oh,
but
they
you're
do.
But I'm just saying you're such a straight shooter that if everyone looked at it, what you're saying is we're having a conversation and
Well,
we're all
that's
got
the thing too. I
opinions.
hate when people do say something, or look in America now when Trump says something,
Yeah.
they take it out of context.
Yeah.
It's
Between
like,
you and-
this is what he said, it's racist. I'm like, if I say something, and to you it sounds racist, just ask me and I'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
And once I've explained it to you, I'll say, listen, there was nothing racist meant in it. But if you took it that way, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it that way.
And you're entitled
Now-
to take it the way you want, but
now-
don't carry on.
But now, once I've told you
Yeah.
what I meant by it,
Why are you carrying
drop
on?
the subject.
Yes.
There's no more. There's nothing to talk about. Then you just go, okay, sorry, I took it the wrong way. But some people just don't let it go. It's just like they keep
I've
going.
noticed that even when I trained with you today, the conversation we're having, that's so easy to try to catch people out. But no, it's an open conversation and we're all entitled to opinions. But so there you were, and it was about... money
for the other
and you were going to
athletes.
give up your prize money, and you'd said it out loud on the microphone. I'm going to spread out my money. Who does that? I don't know many people that do
No,
that.
like I said,
but-
I was making good money, so I, like the other guys, I could have kept my mouth shut, but it's not about that. We're all in it together. These guys train just as hard, so they should get rewarded or get some money for it anyway. But as I always said, the guys at the top should have been the ones standing up more than me even, but a lot of, there's egos involved. They're like, well, I'm doing well, why should I help them? So
I've also noticed, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, Sean Ray spoke a little bit out about many things. He was a bit of a talker too, wasn't he, Sean Ray?
Yeah, about the judging and that.
Yeah, he was. So tell me something.
See, but the thing with Sean, like, he was a great bodybuilder. Out of the sport, like everyone says, he's a bit of an asshole, this and that, but Sean really was out for Sean.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I couldn't care less. It's like, I was more for the other people. If I got suspended or whatever, that's fine. I said I was making good money. I went down to a quarter of what I was making, but I still had a roof over my head, food on the table, so I couldn't care less. So
Yeah, but I guess like you said, everyone's entitled to do what they do. I know Sean did speak out a bit, and I think he was also a great businessman for the sport, and I mean he knew how to market himself.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing is that you do a sport and you don't know how to market yourself, which he did. He wanted to. He said he even gave out flyers, and apparently some media companies let people know. It's not a surprise I'm turning up. I've let you all know, but let's act like it's a surprise. So I guess you've got to know your business, got to work your business. But I think he spoke out about a few things too. So there hasn't been many and also his story is very similar to you because he was quite a great teenage bodybuilder as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was pretty young when he got into it,
Yeah, and you competed quite hard again. I think his best position was second in Olympia, is that right?
I think so, yeah.
What was yours in Olympia? Fifth?
Yeah, but I think, Sean, 96 or something, looked like he could have won it. So I think there's a few guys that could have, like Flex or Leverone. I think they could have all one.
I don't know. Look, I've never competed. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm not about when it comes to bodybuilding. I'm talking about. But apparently, I think that title you're talking about where he came second, he should have actually took it out. I think Dorian took it out that time.
Yeah, but I said it's so subjective bodybuilding. That's the thing. So it's like when you get guys up there, it's like this year when Sampson won and Hardy was second. They both look great, but like if everyone on stage was built like Sampson, then you could say this. It'd be like, say you go to a car show and you have like 10 Ferraris exactly the same, and you're judging them. Then you'd be judging on, okay, which one's detailed the best, which one has the nicer interior. This one has a scratch.
Low kilometres.
This one has a scratch on it.
Got a rash.
This one's got
Which they
the
don't have.
paint looks a bit dull here. But because they're exactly the same, you can pick best ones.
Yeah.
Same as like, I hate to go on the car shows where they have like the best classic car. But if you've got an old classic Camaro, an old classic Mustang, an old classic Pontiac, it comes down to the judges pretty much on what's their favourite car because they're all great in their categories.
Because I'm a bit of a Ford guy.
Yeah, so when
I
you
probably
see
wave.
Hardy, then you see Sampson, they're both great. It's just that Hardy's a bit shorter, built different than that. So I always hate when there's got to be one winner because technically they all look great. It's just coming down to the judge's preference on what they like on that day. So That's what I always say. People shouldn't get upset. Yes, it's nice to win, but even if you don't win, it's like if Hardy had a won, no one would have complained because he looked just as good as Sampson. But that's why racing is good. First across the line wins. There's no, well, it's like,
Well, I'm going to bring up something about bodybuilding and racing and your trophies. But how do you feel? How do you feel when Jay Cutler speaks out about you? Like when he says he walked in a gym or he saw you in a magazine, you were like the alpha, the omega, and he just said that you were like.
I find those compliments actually better than winning contests because
yes, go ahead.
There's Jay Cutler, who was 4-time Mr. Olympia, and they asked him who was the freakiest bodybuilder you ever seen, and then Jay's like, listen, Lee Priest, he goes, and look, and I've stood on stage beside Ronnie, I've competed with Ronnie.
Yes.
Lee Priest, and then Ed Connors at Own Gold's gym.
Yes.
I remember on a podcast, they said, Ed, in all your years, you were at Gold's gym for 30 odd years, who was the freakiest bodybuilder? And I'm thinking in my mind, he's going to say Victor Richards or Barbarian Brothers. He goes, Lee Priest. So,
but you are mentioned so much.
Even like Ronnie Coleman, he got upset when I beat him. So to hear that from other people, it's like, that's pretty good. So
I think it is a win. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is following us on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, please, if you could do us a big favor, which helps us reach more people, get better, bigger, greater. We've already had some great guests anyway. Everyone's been a treat. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every week a new podcast that is launched. And I just want to say a big thank you. But again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and enjoy watching Muscle Talks podcasts. But don't you think it's funny that you haven't competed for over a decade? Mm-hmm. You're in another country in Australia, and Americans are talking more about you than they talk about their own athletes. And there's been many athletes, right?
There's been a lot that have been...
We're also talking about the 70s.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of guys who have, like I said, who have retired probably only 5 years ago, you never hear about again. And like I said, I haven't competed now for 11 years and I'm still talked about. That's why I always laugh sometimes because I'll post something and people are like, oh, you're so fucking irrelevant. And I'm thinking, well, you just commented on my thing, so I must be somewhat irrelevant. I'm somewhat relevant if you're posting and talking about me. So.
100%. So also on a recent post on your IG, the undisputed GOAT of Australia, someone was saying, you were at a show, you mentioned in that funny comment.
I did pretty good, but to me it's like, back in the day we had John Torelli, we had Sammy Ioannidis.
Yes, of course. And
we had Luke Wood.
And what about the Kiwi guy?
Sonny Schmidt.
Schmidt.
So to me it's like, I'm one of, I wouldn't say, I might have done more shows and placed a lot better than some, but I think we've all had our time and generation.
They did look good, those guys. Everyone looked good. You're looking. Yeah. I guess, look, it's a Grand Prix, and you just got there, and maybe it was also that not that you were not a conformist, but you did speak out, and that made you elevate more. And when people speak out, you elevate more.
I think fans can. It's like in anything, you can see through the bullshit, and if someone just speaks their mind, and that's like Trump at the moment. People hate him on it because he just speaks his. He's not like a politician. He just says what he says. I remember the other day.
I tell you what, he'd be a great stand-up comedian. Don't you reckon?
I know, because what was he talking about the other day? And he's talking about something that as he's at the rally, he's just like, I looked at that and I thought, shit. And that.
Yes.
There was one. I'd like to find it. He was talking about Biden sometime, and he's at the podium. Everyone's around him. He's like, did you see Biden the other day? He's like, what a fucking idiot. Yeah, just to hear that coming out of Trump, because politicians don't normally talk like that, but people are like,
what about his vice president?
His
vice president's got, he likes to
I watched him on Rogan. He was just down to earth talking. And I think that's what people can relate to, because a lot of these politicians are so out of touch. Even though Trump's got money now, he still is there for the people. He runs the country like a business. He's not running it like a politician. So he's not there like, most politicians are like, how can I benefit myself, or how can I benefit my friends in big business? Now, I'm sure there's a few things Trump might push through that does help his business and stuff like that, but generally he's there to make America great. And that's why I hate it, because how can you have the love of your country and make America great and people see that as being racist? Like, I'm all for helping other countries, but when you've got people living in the street, they can't get medical, you've got people coming back from wars, the vets and that, who can't get housing and that, but yet you're giving billions to Ukraine. It's like, fix your own country first. Once that's fixed, then go help everybody else. So
there's a saying, it's a biblical saying as well. They're saying, fill your cup over and fill others. What it means is, I'll give you an example. That's Steve. Can I help anyone? No.
No.
Can I help anyone? No.
No.
Can I help anyone? No. But if it fills over, I
Exactly.
grab your cup
Yeah.
because I've made enough money.
Yeah.
My family's safe. Everyone's okay. I've got to give you some money because I see
Yeah.
you're struggling. So, but we don't even. What I'm saying is, they're not even helping their own country. They're just constantly tipping.
What happened here?
empty.
Remember when we had what was it, the drought or so a few years ago? So a lot of these farmers were killing their livestock and this and that. Some farmers were actually committing suicide.
So sad.
And then, what was it, Indonesia had some big flood. We sent 300 million to Indonesia. And now they want to give 600 million for a fucking rugby team. But it's like, we gave 300 million to them. But what do we do for our farmers? I will give you a low interest rate bank loan. No, that 300 million should have went to the fucking farmers, not to another country.
No, I agree, man. I agree. There's a lot of money that should be spent inside a country, inside for their people, but they're not. But the undisputed goat of Australia that this guy was mentioning, seeing you at an expo, and then you said that you beat Ronnie Coleman 7 times,
Yeah.
and that was his most painful thing.
I know, that was funny when he said that, because when he was on that Patrick Bet David show,
Yes.
it's like when they asked him what was that, I'd never expected that, because he's like, was it when? Yeah, because Jay beat him. That was a big.
Yeah, of
he's
course,
Mr.
yeah.
Olympia, and all of a
That's the
sudden
biggest
Jay
comp.
takes
Yes,
his
of course, of
title.
course. You think
I thought
it's-
that would have been, or
Yeah.
maybe something else in his personal life. But he's like, no, getting beat by Lee Priest. I'm like, how did that affect you that much? In every interview, he's just done a recent one again, only 2 weeks ago, and he brought it up. He was in England or somewhere not long ago, and he brought it up again. So
So how
every
could
time
you, and also they mentioned about retiring him. How could you retire him? You think that losing the Olympia would be the
I
enough
know.
to retire? But obviously there was something about you that created an aura, and I think not so unbeknown to you, beknown to you, but unbeknown in some ways. You went out there with what you could. You went out with this body, and this body was a shock and awe
I think
for
too, I
everyone.
was sort of like an early version of Trump, because I know there was people around that like would talk to me like this, were like friends, pally. But then if they went to another group and that group's like, fuck Lee Priest, we hate him. Yeah, I hate him too. It's like they didn't want other people to know that they liked me or spoke to me, because like then their other group wouldn't like him. And I've always said, just be yourself. It's like, if you be yourself, you're going to attract the people who like you for you. I couldn't imagine being fake and have to, if I go to these people's house, I've got to act a certain way, because if I'm my true self, they won't like me. And I think that's sadly what the world's like now with the internet and that. People are putting out this perception of what they want people to think who they are or how they act. It's like, just be your fucking self.
Well, talking about them muzzling people, and we think, isn't it better to let them speak, because then at least you don't seem like you're threatened. But when you're quieting
I
a
know.
person up, you're like,
And
why are
and
you
the thing
quieting
is,
that
we're
person
smart
up?
enough. Let them speak. Like when they bring speakers over, like I talking about Candace Owen.
Yes.
Let her come over.
Yeah.
If people want to see her, they will. If they go and see her and they don't like it, they don't like it. It's like, look at all these people that get offended by comedians who tell, like there's a lot of comedians I know who tell jokes about incest, rape, and we know murder or babies dying. We know these subjects aren't funny, but yet they do it in a way where you laugh, or you might go, oh, that's a bit off. But yet you might not like every joke that comedian says, but you shouldn't ban the comedian.
Oh, that's right.
Generally, you know ahead of time what this comedian's like. You're like, oh, he's very out there. He talks about everything. You could get offended. So if you go see him, don't then go, I want him cancelled and this because I didn't like that joke. It's like, okay, you might have spoke about something about cancer, and I got someone that died of cancer. Yeah, but he's not talking about you. He knows cancer is an off-topic subject, so...
I think everyone hookbaits it. I think everyone grabs a snippet and they run with it. You could have said a whole sentence.
I know.
And I think there was an incident
So he might have told 100 jokes and there's one joke you don't like, so you want him cancelled for that one joke.
It's like that situation. I don't know where you mentioned it. Thankfully, you did mention that you need to get some sunscreen on. But you spoke about that bodybuilding incident inside that gym, and the guy.
Yeah.
I forget the names. I was going to use it, and I actually took it out of my script. But what? And you said something about no one knows what happened prior, and how far prior it is. You're talking about a police incident too, where maybe the police officer was spat on, punched and stabbed, and then you're seeing the guy putting him down, and the police officer is looked upon as doing something bad. But what I'm trying to say is, why is it, and what's happening, and I feel on the internet at the moment, is why is it that you need to grab someone's clip and then put it on your clip, and then you are dissecting it, and you think no one's going to go punch you in the face.
And then you're not showing the whole clip. It's like you're just showing.
But no, you don't know that the guy you're talking about, who's
you're going to run into him one day.
Wait, he's 5'8", 70 kilos, but he's 5'10", BJJ, and he's going
Exactly.
to when he sees you, he'll grapple hold you and choke hold you. But what I'm getting is, we're all testosterone, we're all males, we get offended. So I just want to know, when you put it out in the open, at what point have you thought that this is not stopping until you're confronted, maybe?
Yeah. And if you do get confronted and shit happens, don't go running to the police about it. It's like you're two grown men, you had an argument, you had a fight. One's going to win, one's going to lose, or maybe halfway through the fight you just go, hey, let's just stop this.
What happened
it's
with
stupid.
it? Just get the fists up and
Well,
go
back in
for
the
it.
old days, you'd see it in the pub.
Yeah.
Two guys, hey, mate, let's go outside, go outside. One might knock the other out, then he'd like, come on, mate, let's go and have a drink
Hey,
now.
there was punch
that was
on
the end of it.
There was punch-ons in the gym, mate.
Yeah.
It was all just on, and there was levels of masculinity. We were just guys, mate. No, but I don't know. It's all become a little bit like.
Like I said, it's all nearly all for Instagram. People try and instigate shit just to get their reaction,
and then they critique it on top of critiquing, on top of like how fucking we critique this?
I know.
All I know is people get angry, and people don't like to be spoken about and be put down. And if you're not the type, maybe just stop it. Like everyone, just let everyone talk and say your point. But
Well,
don't have to
the
bring.
thing is
But
too-
no, but what it means, they bring in the little picture and people stare at them, going like
Well,
this.
the thing is too, it's like, how about, yes, everyone has an opinion. It doesn't mean you have to give it on everything.
Yeah.
I see shit online, I just go, oh yeah, I just scroll. Yeah. But everything, hold on, I got to put my 2 cents in here. Oh, got to put my 2 cents. No, you don't. You can just look at it and go, okay.
I had someone once say on one of our posts, the host looks like he should start training. And I replied, you're right. I mean, next to everyone
But then
else.
sometimes you look at their picture and you're like, well, I've had that before. People go, oh, you look like shit, you look like that. I look at their picture and go, look, I understand. You're going through chemo right now. You're stage 4 cancer. I understand. I said, what, did make a wish not grant your wish? I look at their picture and they're like this. I'm like, I just give it back to them.
Yeah, well, I've learned.
And someone's like, you're making fun of people with cancer. No, I'm making fun of you because you look like a dickhead.
Sometimes they say, oh, he was a big idiot. I said, look, big is a big word. How about just idiots? Is that enough? Yeah. You know, like all the. So you can jokingly go back to them. So let's talk about your documentary quickly. Going to be
coming
December.
out probably December. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it. What is there any spoilers, or are you going to keep anything? Like, is there something you'd
Well,
like?
I've seen like a rough copy of it. It should be over 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it's not. I like it because I'm in it a little bit, but I like to hear the other people talk. Jay's
Yeah.
in it, Flex Lewis is in it, Dennis James, Milos, Jose Raymond. Like, there's a ton of people in it, and they're just telling their funny stories that are asking them questions about me. So their answers are pretty good. Paul Dillette's in it, Ed Connors is in it. Yeah, there's a lot of people, so it's entertaining. I enjoyed watching it, but I haven't seen all of it put together now. They said when I see it again, I'm going to be shocked because I think they've added. I think Michael Hearn might be in it now too. So. They've added a few more things, so but it's good. It's like I said, it pretty much just covers my whole career life and then just in general everything, bodybuilding and general life. So I think it's going to get released when I go to England first week in December, and I think they want to get a movie theatre over there and have like a premiere and release it then, and then I think it's going to be on maybe Amazon or one of those platforms where you can get it.
Yeah, like I said, when Chris does his work, I don't know what the outcome will be, but usually it's always a lot better and quite surprising. So you roomed with a few. I know that you roomed with Paul Dillette. Was he one of the?
Yeah.
I want to ask about when you room with a bodybuilder, right? This is my question. You know how when young sports kids are coming through,
We never talked about bodybuilding.
But that's what I mean. But but is that like a common thing as you going through the ranks?
No, not really, because he split with his wife and needed a place to stay, so he come to stay with me for 8 months, and yeah, so we just hung out. We never spoke bodybuilding, we never discussed steroids, didn't talk anything, just spoke generally about general life stuff. So yeah, that's why I think nearly all the pros I've ever hung around, I've never once discussed steroids training. It's just like we know what to do, we know what to use, so. That's why it's amazing now when all these people go, what's he taking, what's that taking? It's like, who gives a fuck what they're taking? Yeah, what they're taking is not going to work for you the same. So why waste your time and energy? It's like how many times I get asked, do you think Michael Hearn's natural? I'm like, who gives a shit? Why don't you spend more time worrying about yourself and go train than worry about if somebody's on gear or not? I said, why is that such a big fucking topic?
It seems like not just yours, a lot of the podcasts, and I think that's why everyone likes this podcast, because like I said, the Tonight Show of bodybuilding, it seems like we're not always talking about what's your cycle, what are you doing? Because I think I think it's been spoken
No,
enough.
it's even like training. It's like, Lee, what do you do for arms? I do the same as you, barbell curl, dumbbell curl. I don't do anything secretless. It's like, Lee, what do you do for chest? Same as you, dumbbell presses. It's like,
Well, I'm going to be selling our workout. Let me tell you, for $10,000, it's a Lee Priest workout. Chris,
Exactly.
make sure you put it together, and we're selling a secret workout. So, you trained at some amazing gyms, right? Gold's and
World and that,
World. But you not rub shoulders, but in those gyms, you mentioned Dennis Hopper, Van Damme, Arnold's training there. Tell us some more names that you saw. Stallone. That's. I wanted to ask about Stallone too.
Rutger Hauer. Well, actually, he came up to me at a Arnold Classic Expo once because he came over and started talking to me, and Stallone comes over, just start chatting because he's talking about he liked my articles in Flex magazine. So I'm just talking, not paying attention. I look around, there's just wall of people around us taking photos and stuff. But Gregory Hines, he used to be a big bodybuilding fan. Rutger Hauer used to go to the gym. Keanu Reeves, like you'd see, like a lot of the pro wrestlers would go to the gym. Yeah, you'd see all of them in there. A lot of female actresses. Who was it? Oh, I forget her name now. She was married to Charlie Sheen. She'd always be in there, but she was a bit of a bitch. What's in it? Can't remember. But you'd always have actors, but they're just general people.
That's awesome. But for look,
if you're a tourist and you come in, you're like, oh my God, there's Arnold, there's that. But because you see him every day, it's just like, how you going?
How you going? And I guess
you'd have footballers like back then.
Was there someone that you really appreciated talking to? Like, what did you appreciate talking to Stallone?
Yeah, but even Arnold and them, because I talked to him and Joe Gold about the old days. And,
yes.
Yeah, so you get on good. What
about rest in peace, what about Frank Colombo?
I didn't really speak to him much, but I used to get on good with James Caan.
Yeah.
You remember James Caan? He was in The Godfather and all those sort of things.
Yes.
I used to get on good with him because he loved the Sydney Swans, so he'd always talk to me about that. I was at a stop sign once. I was in the Hummer, and he saw me. He said, "Oh, Lee, there's a good game on the weekend." He starts chatting to me. The car behind me is like beep 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 beep. James Caan turns around and goes, "Why don't you fuck off?" So the car comes around as he goes past. He's like, "Oh, I got told off by James Caan." but he was a good. And I saw him last 2 years ago. He had a back operation. They really fucked it up, and he was on oxygen. So my friend trained him. He was like, "Oh, Lee, James is here. You want to come and say hello to him?" So I went and talked to him, and it was sad because he was so frail and that. Then 2 weeks after that, he passed away. So it was good to see him again before he passed away, but it wasn't good to see him in that sort of condition. Yeah. So because he used to be a big sort of into fitness. You know, if you look at James Caan's movies, he's been in so many. Yeah, but just to see that, because the operation fucked him up and that, like his son's into acting too now and stuff.
So I just answer two questions from the viewers because it does talk about Kirilos. He just asked, what's your experience meeting and chatting? And you mentioned prior that you hadn't, but with Sergio
I only met
Oliver?
him once when I just got a signed photograph off him, and that was it. I just spoke to him briefly then, but that was really the only time I ever spoke to Sergio Oliver.
How long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Probably early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah. And any tips on a short bicep? Who knows what that tip is? Just answering that question for
short bicep, long bicep. You train it the
same workout.
Yeah, same workout. There's no tips. It's like you can't make it any longer. It's like it's attached where it's attached. So,
can I ask? Because I'm gonna go into a Jay Cutler podcast with Ronnie Coleman. How do you, how do you know what we all saw with Ronnie Coleman or what we see today? Even though he seems to be doing so well and he has this, he's very optimistic. I'll give him that much, but he's definitely got this optimism about himself too, which means he sees good, he sees greatness, and that's all that matters. How do you feel about seeing poor Ronnie Coleman the way he is?
I don't think of him as poor. Yeah, it's different now because you remember him from competing to now, and you're like, oh, some people go, I feel sorry for him and this and that, but then it's like, Ronnie's not upset about it, so why should I be upset? It's like, I competed with Flex, and Flex lost his leg and that, so, but Flex still gets out there and does stuff and that, so I'm thinking, if he's not feeling miserable about himself, why should I? And if they're happy and they're still doing stuff, like, people go, oh, Ronnie shouldn't be training now. But look at Ronnie, he's still smiling, he's still happy.
He's happy
He's
than
still
most people.
travelling the world.
Yeah.
People still adore him and that from what he's done. So even though he's not the Ronnie we used to see, he's still Ronnie. He's still the same guy in his mind and that. So he still gets out there. He's still, even now, he's not as big as he was, but seeing what he's going through now, he can barely walk, and that's same as Flex. They're still doing stuff that's motivating people in other ways. So there's people out there who maybe are in the same condition as Ronnie, or somebody could be an amputee like Flex, and now they're like, well, shit, if he's doing it, I can go out and do it. So
Do you think it's us just wishing they were still this?
I think so. I think once you see, well, it's like, you know, we see actors who we grew up with, and then they pass away or they look different. You're like,
they look great.
Oh, he doesn't look the same anymore. But you know,
What
we're all
happens
going to
to
get
those
old.
good
We're all going to
looks?
change. But you know, but like I said, they're still out there doing their thing. They're still motivating people. So I say good on them, because I think those type of people, because you're so used to it. I think if Ronnie didn't do anything, he'd probably die or be miserable, and that could probably lead you, because you know, if you don't have a purpose anymore, you're like, what am I here for? I'm in constant pain. So maybe doing what he does, because I said he's always in pain, so maybe doing that takes his mind away from his own problems. If he can go out there and motivate people, talk to people, you're not sitting at home going, oh, I feel shit, my back's aching, this is shit. So I think it's good to see him still out there doing stuff and flexing that. So
no, he talks about wanting to go back to the police force, and he actually, Jay Cutler said to him, "How did you chase people down?" And you know what he said? "I didn't." He goes, "I wasn't going to chase after anybody."
Exactly.
He goes, "I just looked at the guy which direction he was going, and I was calling up another unit, and the other unit
he's going down the road.
he goes, I wasn't going to chase this guy down." But recently on the podcast, Ronnie Coleman, he spoke about what it was like after each Olympia. Like after an Olympia or after a comp, he spoke about having 5 months off, not even going to the gym really.
Yeah.
Like, and even off cycles and everything. Like he
I'd
actually
go off cycles, but I'd never go off the gym. I'd always train.
Yeah, but Ronnie Coleman was Ronnie Coleman. I mean, he could do it, but he was saying like, he just was happy that he just didn't have to do it for 5 months. Is that how you felt as well after comp?
I'll be back
So
in the gym.
you've been training?
If my contest was Saturday, I'll be back at the gym Sunday.
Yeah. There are people like that. There's, but even if he said that he was off the drugs too, he was quite happy. Like
I was always happy to get off. I couldn't wait to get off them.
really. Yeah, and it seems like everyone that's not competing wants to go on for some reason.
Smells like someone burnt the toast.
Oh, is that what's happening? Is that what you're smelling now? They also spoke, and Ronnie spoke about, people, it's crazy at the moment seeing people talking about enhancement drugs and how it's rife in bodybuilding today, but no one's giving their body, liver, or kidneys a break. But it's mostly the people that aren't competing that are abusing this.
It's always the ones who think they can be a pro or want to be a pro. They think this is the way to do it, take more drugs, but it's not. And when we tell them that, they think, oh, you pros are lying. It's like, we're not lying. Look, we know you're going to do it, but listen to what we're saying. If you're going to do it, don't abuse it, use it, and try to do it as safely as you can.
Yeah, no.
It's like anything. It's like alcohol. Go have a couple of drinks. Oh no, then you drink more, you get plastered, you can't walk, you might hop in a car and kill someone. So we all know what's right and wrong and what's too much, but yet some people just push the boundary.
Do you enjoy a drink?
No, hate alcohol.
You hate alcohol? Yeah. Also, Ronnie said, Jay Cutler said to him, "What do you want to eat, Ronnie?" when he was there.
Chicken.
And he goes, "Chicken and rice."
You always eat chicken and rice. I saw a video pop up the other day. He was cooking in the kitchen. He was cooking chicken and rice.
It's just chicken and rice. So how do you feel about all this talk, this calories talk at the moment? Like, I'm confused because...
I don't get into it. I think if you just stick to the basics, you can't go wrong. The internet's good, but there's too much information. I think people, when it comes to eating or training, I think people just overthink it way too much, and you're making it too complicated. And when things become complicated, you don't enjoy it. You're like, you got to do this. You say, you don't have to do that. Just stick to the basics, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
but then again, you get a lot of personal trainers and people that they want to make it sound scientific, so they maybe can charge him more. People, he knows what he's talking about because he knows this and that. It's like, yeah, you can be book smart, but on the street you don't know fuck all. So, or you can be street smart. And I've got friends who couldn't read a book, like they're like just had that. Well, I forget what it is, where they can't read or write, but yet you give him anything, he could pull apart, build an engine, do whatever. So there's people who are just good at different things and not other things. So, but yet when it comes to training and dieting, if you keep it as simple as you can, you can't really go wrong. So stop overthinking it. And then, like I said, it's almost like you would watch the TV. This week chocolate's good, next week chocolate's bad. So people watch the internet. Oh, this is the training program. Next week, hold on, this training program's better. It's like you're making it too hard on yourself.
Did you ever want to be a personal trainer?
No.
And has
Because
anyone...
I don't like people complaining, because I'd give people exercise, oh, this hurts, that is like, well, so what? It's going to fucking hurt. And I know
Have you ever had
Wife or
anybody come
people
to
would
you?
hate me. Yeah, I've helped a couple, but now I just don't bother.
So you've helped a couple come to you and they say, can you get us to...
Yeah, and they've won shows that I help, but then after that I'm just like, okay, it's hard enough training myself. I just don't have the motivation to train other people. And then, but like I said, they complain. It's like, people can come to me, like my wife would be like, I got a sore back. I'm like, yeah, just what, you don't care? I said, listen, the amount of times my back's been sore and shit, it's like, no, I got no sympathy for you because all those years you train, you'd be in constant pain half the time. So when someone goes sore, I'm like, yeah, so what, suck it up.
And what about this, the Menace podcast that you're on? It's quite funny that Milos is on and all those boys.
Yeah, I was on that one not long ago with Paul Dillette and all them,
Yeah, they seem to love you. They seem to love the Aussie guy.
A lot of people like that one. They reckon it's one of the best podcasts ever.
Yeah, I noticed that. So let's talk about the. What did you think of Olympia? I know we spoke about it last time quickly, but what did you think about the Olympia?
Yeah, it's just Olympia. I don't really get into watching shows anymore because, like I said, they're all good. Everyone's going to have their predictions, and I said the only one that's happy is the guy that won. If you've got, no matter who you like, it's like if you're a Hardy fan, Samson wins. He was ripped off. It's politics. Or if you're a Derek fan, Derek should have won. So, like I said, the only guy that's happy is the guy that won and his fans. Everybody else is going to say it's political, it's this, it's that. So, I just don't even really get into it. It's like, yeah, good, it's Olympia.
And we spoke a little bit
Even when
about...
I used to go to them, like I went there 2 years ago, and if I go to these big, I never even go watch the show. I just go to the expos, meet the fans, hang out, and just go back to my hotel room and watch TV. So
I saw you give out a trophy one time to a guy that been on our podcast, Tyler Johnson. He won a classic physique.
Okay.
But I just saw that you handed out a trophy to him. But I'm sure you don't know him. He knows you, but you wouldn't know who he is. But I want to know, why do I keep hearing you win it from the back? And back in your days, did you guys train glutes as hard as they train glutes
we never
today?
did. It's like, our glutes weren't fat, but it's like, to me, I got into bodybuilding like, I want Tom Platz's legs. I want this guy's arms. I never said, oh, I want that guy's ass. It's like, to me, it's like, that's one from the back. That's 2 shots, a rear lat spread and a rear double bicep.
Yeah, that's right.
There's more. There's at least a couple of shots from the side, front double bicep, ab shot, front lat spread. So this whole shows one from the back is just bullshit. It's just, and who gives a fuck? My posing trunks covered my ass. I know a lot of guys pull them up their ass. The glutes, to me, as long as, I see, you might have guys' ass like mine. It was hard, but it wasn't all styrated, and that was good enough. It's like,
did you train them?
no, never. This whole fucking hip thrusters and that bullshit. It's like, if I see a guy on that, I'm like, you need fucking mental help. Go do squats or lunges or fucking something. No one had those.
Are we going to be okay to put that one up as a short?
Yes, you can, yes.
Okay, Chris,
if you're doing hip thrusters and you're a man, go change your tampon.
All right, Chris, we've got approval for that, because let me tell you,
you do.
You don't know how far you can go. That one can go far.
Well, it is so dumb. It's like doing squats, lunges. Look at Gaspari's ass back in the late 80s. His was cross-styrated. They never had glute machines. It's just money making. And to see girls, or guys who weigh 120 pounds and they've got 6 plates and they're doing this, it's like, I can't wait to see your back in fucking a couple of years' time. Yeah. It's like, it's doing fuck all, but yet I blame the Kardashians for all this ass bullshit, especially for girls. I see girls doing the same glutes exercise nearly every fucking day.
Well, someone even said, I said I'm not, they said that it predominantly engages your hamstrings anyway, because if you're going to be pushing that kind of weight, you're actually engaging your hammies.
Well, they are, because they're just pushing up. To me, it looks like you're fucking imaginary spirit. You're just thrusting your box up into the air.
I always say, it's not like I've walked in the gym and my best mate's on the hip thrust and I ask him how the weekend was. I'm usually waiting for him to finish. But usually if he's on the bicep machine, you'll go stand beside him and go...
Or if there's a girl on it, you don't know which way to look, because there's some machines that are right in front of him. Oh, there's a dip machine at one gym I go to.
Like the roundabouts.
The dip machine's here, but then they got the abductor right beside it. So while I'm doing it, you're like, I can't even fucking look sideways, or she'll think I'm perving on her.
I remember once taking my daughter to the casino to go to a nightclub, and obviously she was wearing the mini skirts. I mean, she looked gorgeous. I didn't want to say, and she wanted me to fix her shoe, and I was fixing it while in the casino. As we were walking down, I'm taking her to the nightclub. We're walking through the casino, and then there's about a dozen girls in black walking towards us, and I got my daughter, and I went, I really like what they did with the lights in the casino. Because even my daughter would go, "What are you looking at, Dad?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't mean to." Can I just ask? Was there a kind of like a rival bodybuilder? Not rival like you hated, but rival that you looked upon and you said, man, if I beat this guy, I think I'm pretty good. Was there anyone? Never?
Never. My competition was with myself, nobody else. So.
All right, so 11 comps in 1 year. No one does that. No one, like you guys, the school of 1999 and
Well,
that Olympia.
the minimum we used to do was probably 3 or 4, the majority of us, yeah. But now some guys just do 1. I'm like, they get lazy. It's like everyone wants to be big in that, but yet they're trying to, before you train for 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, we never overtrained. We rest, we ate it. But now it's like any more than an hour, you're overtraining. I'm thinking, what other sport, if you want to be number 1 in the world, whether it's tennis, boxing, who only trains for 1 hour
Tennis.
a fucking day?
Everyone tournament. Sorry,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
tournament. How many tournaments you got to do to be number 1?
Yeah, but like how many you just train for an hour a day? Some boxers probably do an hour of skipping rope, and then they do sparring, and then they do this. It's like everyone wants to get big and huge, but it's like I don't want to put much time in. I'm like, you're a pro bodybuilder. You get paid to eat, sleep, and train. Okay, you've trained for 1 hour. Now you got another 11 hours of the day to do what? Fucking nothing.
Do you think they're afraid to win a comp, like a pro comp, to get to Olympia, and they're afraid to see themselves 3rd and 2nd and 4th because
Maybe.
they want to jump
Maybe,
straight
but
to
then
Olympia?
if you do, it's like it's all learning. You might have missed
Yeah,
your
that's what I
peak.
mean. Maybe the why you're coming 20th.
The more you do it, the better you get knowing your body and shit. So it's like you do that one
Yes.
show a year, you do one
makes sense,
show,
Chris.
you do one show, then you go, okay, I'm going to do one more show. If you're only doing one show a year and you don't get it right, that's it. You wasted a whole fucking year.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like something you just said that if you win a pro card, all right, you've initially been allocated to go to Olympia, but even doing shows along the way, what you're doing, don't worry
Yeah.
what you're coming. Learn how to compete against different bodybuilders, different shapes, different tournaments.
Yeah.
And then maybe that
sometimes to
moment
be
you
a-
fine tune yourself
And
for
sometimes
Olympia.
to be a better athlete, you got to learn what it's like to lose.
Exactly. I'm so all right. Tattoos. You being David Beckham in the bodybuilding industry. I remember you initially had a Superman logo. That was
Still got
your initial logo.
Yeah.
And
I went from there.
I just want to know, you don't have like a unicorn on your backside or
nothing
mermaid?
crazy like that,
Not
no.
that crazy. Okay, people.
I
But,
love heart with mum.
yeah, I love her with mum or your ex-girlfriend.
No, I've had a few of those removed.
Yeah, a lot of people did. What was it about the artwork on your body? Also, when you retired, you had hairstyles, and you also had occasionally you wore your reading glasses.
Yeah.
Lee, are you fashionable kind of guy? No, really.
No, I just go with what I feel like doing. Sometimes I'll put on eyeliner. Sometimes I just put eyeliner here.
Do you know? I've done that too.
I had it tattooed.
Do you know-
I had it tattooed on, but it kept because it waters a lot. It kept coming out, so I just put it on there. But it's funny because so weird. The guy that would cut my hair in place, I'd have more men compliment and say, "Hey, that eyeliner looks good. It makes your eyes pop." More guys commented on it than girls. They're like, "I actually like that. It looks pretty good."
Remember when we went to the coffee expo and I had my nails painted?
I did my nails back in the early 90s, and I'd do it.
Well, Lee, you're a fashionable
And
fucking
I'd actually
guy,
I'd put black on them, and I'd put like a diamante in that. People would comment, but then you'd be surprised how many other fans would send me photos with black fingernails. Or I actually had my old tattoo on the face. I probably had at least 7 people that sent me photographs. They went and got the same tattoo on their face. So, they're hardcore fans.
Well, let me tell you, I painted my nails and my toenails, right? Yeah. And I did do eyeliner, and it was in...
Well, I never did toenails. I always do my nails, and it's funny because we go, "Was that you gay?" But then I remember once I was down in the south of America, and this was back in the day with the earrings, and I think, was it right ear meant you're gay or left ear meant you're gay?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember I was signing some photos, and this couple from the south, "How you going? Good, good." And the woman's like, "I got to ask you a question." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" She goes, "I know the right ear means you're gay and this and that. What's it mean when you got both ears done?" And I just looked up and said, "It means when I'm finished fucking you, I'm going to fuck him." And they're like, "What? They're like, if you ask me a question, I'll give you a silly answer. But just the look on their face was like, oh.
Well, I can tell you, I went to the expo, and Chris, how popular was I? Everyone wanted to talk to me at the expo. It was like, everyone was just going like,
and people are like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Because I wanted to. I'm not doing it to get approval. I'm not doing it to think what these people are going to think." It's like, if I want to put black nail polish or blue nail polish, I used to put that shellac one, is it? That was really hard. That way, if you
the shellac was tough. Yeah.
If you hit
God, you know your shellac.
yeah, it wouldn't even come off. So
yeah, no.
But trying to get it off was even hard, though. But yeah, I used to put like a nice
Everyone's-
royal blue. I used to like it because it just used to make people think, because they're like, "Well, why has he got his nail polish?"
Well, I actually, because I've got a coffee company, it's crimson in colour, right? And I actually did my mohawk in crimson, and I had crimson nail polish. And when we went to the
I had a
coffee
big blonde
exchange-
mohawk once. and
Yeah. I mean,
stuff. I've had a lot. I get that manic panics hair stuff.
what's
and
his
I'd
name?
go blue.
Erg seemed to run quite a hairstyle.
now, yeah.
Erg now, yeah. I think expression is fun. I don't know,
No,
but I think
just be yourself. Because so many people probably want to do shit, but they're like, or if I do that, what will people think of me? Who cares? If the job that you're at doesn't mind, fucking be yourself. Who cares?
or on a serious note, The Greatest American Hero, one of your favourite shows.
It was a good TV show.
It was
I
a
used
good
to like
TV.
that. I used to like that in Highway to Heaven.
And Highway to Heaven, did you?
Yeah, with what's his
Believe
name?
it or not,
Yeah, Michael
I'm
Lambert on that
walking
one, and then-
there we're going.
I used to like Benji. Remember that show? The dog that would go around from town
Well,
to
Lassie
town.
made me cry all the time. I cried with dog
or the
shows.
The Littlest Hobo. He used to go from
I never
town
was
to-
into The Little Hobo. Seemed too much of a bum for me.
I was into the Thunderbirds and Doctor Who and
No, see, I wasn't into that. But Lassie
Yeah.
and Benji, I'd be crying at the end every
Yeah.
time because it looked like the dog limped its way
That was
home.
like the Highway to Heaven was always a sad show that helped somebody to move on.
Well, it kind of symbolises you a little bit that you like to help people. You do. You've had a few cars. What's been one of your favourite cars?
Don't have a favourite, like them all.
At
I've
the
had,
moment,
I've
you've
had
got the
too
Hummer.
many. Had too many, yeah.
I saw the Hummer. Looks like you're ready for war.
Yeah. We might be soon.
Well, you got the right car.
Exactly.
You got the right car.
I just
and-
need to put a gun on the top.
And look, you seem to love dogs
Yeah, and cats, any
and
animals.
cats and any
Yeah.
animals. You've got a and this will sound strange, which I heard you say it on, again, I think it was the podcast on with the Spaniard, the search. You said that you actually sold off some of your bodybuilding trophies and gave
All
them
of
to
them, yeah.
all of them. He sold off all his bodybuilding trophies.
I
And
gave
you
all the
gave
money to animal shelters.
elder
yeah.
shelters. Who are you, Lee?
I don't know. I used to volunteer at the RSPCA. It used to be sad because I'd walk the dogs and that. Then sometimes you'd go back, the dog's been adopted. Sometimes it's been put down. So it was always.
Was that when you were a young kid or even recently? I'd be
Yeah, that's
recently.
when I was probably like 2015 and all that. yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it sums up who you are. I can work this out. But what you did keep is your drag racing trophies. And the reason
I
you...
still got them here,
you-
but I got rid of my drag racing suit, and that's in a gym in a big frame on a wall in England somewhere.
Really?
So,
Okay. Oh, was... Because you mentioned something about liking drag racing or racing cars. It's you were one on performance. Like that really like, in other words, he who won was the one first over the line. He who won had the fastest time. You like where bodybuilding sometimes
Subjective,
the
yeah.
subjective got to you.
It's like anything. I could watch ice skating, and you'd watch someone and you think, "Wow, that's incredible." They didn't make one mistake and they get this score. Then someone does something and they made a little trip, but yet their score's higher. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
I did
there's a
know
lot of
that.
it's subjective. So
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
it's hard to tell what the judges, or even boxing, you could watch a boxing fight and they're like, it was a draw, or this judge scores it this many
I've
to
never
that
known
many.
how
I'm
boxing
like,
works, man. So
If you knock the guy out, then there's no scoring needed.
well, don't you think one of these comments is probably one of the most hypocritical comments when someone said if Lee didn't open his mouth, he would have won Olympia, and then you said, I thought Olympia was over the body, not the
No,
mouth.
exactly. Shouldn't matter what I said, as long as I'm not threatening someone bodily harm. If I'm just giving my opinion on how I think the sport should be better, why penalise me for that? That just proves that, I'm probably speaking the truth, but you don't want to hear it. So it's like, don't say that. So
Well, coming close to the end now, I just want to know the US election, which is funny enough.
Trump.
Let's
hope Trump.
Yeah, let's hope
And like I
Trump.
said, people, they can hate Trump. They say, I don't like the way he talks, his hair. It's like, yeah, but it's quite easy. Look at the last 4 years with Kamala and Biden. Look at Trump's 4 years. His was much better. Hate the guy all you want, but the statistics and facts speak for themselves. And this whole thing about he's going to get rid of democracy, he's going to do this. He never started a war. The economy was great. He helped out nearly every, like Mexicans, money to black people, to schools, to colleges. And yeah, he was on speaking terms with Putin. And people say, oh, he's friends with Putin.
What's
It's
wrong with
like,
that?
wouldn't you rather be on speaking terms with your enemies than not? And that's the best
You'd
way
wanna
to
be on
be.
speaking
It's
terms.
like, the old saying about keep your enemies closer.
Yeah, of course.
What's wrong with that? So, yeah, it's like you can compare both, and Trump was the better person. Kamala, even like these last few months, if I get in on day one, it's like, bitch, you're in now. Why don't you do it now?
Of
Why have we
course.
got to wait for day one? You were the vice president now. You could sign off on the border now and change the border. You could do all these things now. Why say on day one? It's like, you're still in now. Do it now. So it's just a whole lot of crap. And then you've seen all what Trump says, and same thing. They'll take a little snippet out of context, and it's just like, come on. It's like,
always
can
out of
people
context.
believe this shit?
It's always
Come on.
got a point. Like I said,
So I'm hoping he gets in because, like I said, really America is a business. You got to run the country like a business.
I think so.
But they're just running.
I think. Don't you think politicians should be under KPIs, and if you don't meet your KPIs, you get sacked?
Yeah.
So in other
well,
words,
to me, I've always said that. To me, it's like,
if you don't make the money and you cost
well,
too much money,
not
you should
even
be
the
sacked.
money. It's like, if I run a business and you come to me, I say, look, I need someone who can do computer programming, this and that.
Yeah.
You're like, I can do that. Okay, can you do this? I can do that. And you think, wow, you fit the job description.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Now 6 months goes past. I'm like, hey, you haven't done this yet, and you haven't done that.
And you're blowing the budget.
Yeah, and you haven't done this. And you go, I just said that to get the job. I'm like, you're fired.
Yeah.
So these politicians, whether it's America or Australia, they promise all this shit, okay, and people go, I'm going to vote him in because he said he's going to do this.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, then we should be able to kick you the fuck out. Why should you be in there when you haven't done what you said?
I think it should be KPIs, key performance indicators.
Yeah.
What that means is everything been better, and anything that's not better, your job's on the line.
Yeah, or if you said you're going to make this, or you're going to bring this down, or you're going to make this more affordable, if over 6 months you haven't even started on it, then you're out. Because you promised the people, I'll do this if you put me in. So we put you in on that promise. If you haven't done it, then get the fuck out.
Well,
I think I should be Prime Minister.
I think you should, and I think I should be vice.
Yeah.
And
We'll just clean this place up. But that's the thing, they wouldn't like it. Again, Trump's not a politician, and that's what they're scared of, because he says he wants to drain the swamp and get rid of these people. These people are like, wait a minute, he's going to destroy our cushy lifestyle.
could he do it though in 4 years? I hope he puts in the right
Yeah, I
laws.
think he could, hopefully.
Look, I was in sales, and they give you KPIs. They say you need to make X amount a year.
Mm-hmm.
No, X amount a quarter. And when you didn't match it, your job was on the line.
Exactly. You'd be having a meeting going,
You
what's
bet-
going on?
Yeah. So I don't know how these politicians get away with it. Did you compete anywhere else in the world? I guess I've never asked that question. Have you gone to another country and
Not
competed?
many. Europe,
Can you tell us some? Because I don't know if I've ever...
Spain, Hungary, Germany, Budapest, England.
Wow.
Been all over.
Was there a country, 2 countries? Is there another country outside of Australia that you really enjoy going to besides America?
Budapest was really nice. Prague was nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And in a competing term, which did you like as a competition outside of America?
No, I didn't. When I'm competing, I don't really like competing.
But if there was a country that you thought, oh, this is a really good organisation, or they've done a really
Well,
good
it's
job.
still IFBB, so they're still the same people run it. So
Okay. But
you're just competing in a different country, but the same people are running it all.
so Budapest, Prague,
Yeah, all those kinds, yeah. I like older places like England. Anything that has really good history, the castles and all that sort of stuff.
So is it true in a midlife crisis it's because your testosterone is low and that you're married?
Marriage, yeah. I don't know. If you're
It's
married,
your humour, by the way.
I know. But if you're in a marriage like that, then you're married the wrong person, because you should marry someone that makes you happy, makes you horny and stuff like that, and keep it going. Because you always hear when you're married you don't get sex anymore.
How
so
shit's that?
I know. So, but yeah, it's like a lot of guys are on Prozac and all these mind-altering drugs because they're depressed. When really, it's their testosterone. I was saying before, women can get estrogen. Women go through menopause. They can go to their doctor, going through menopause. Here's estrogen. You go to your doctor, I'm depressed and that. Well, here, take some Prozac, take this. And half the time those drugs make people worse. They make them suicidal. When if they check their testosterone, because as we get older, our testosterone drops. That's why sometimes you see an older guy, oh, look at him, he's got a fucking Ferrari, midlife crisis. He's got a younger girl, he's cheated on his wife because he's looking for that excitement. Whereas if you just gave him testosterone, he'd feel good again. But for us to get it, we've got to go to doctors, go to endocrinologists, go back to a doctor. Then they'll say, wait 6 weeks, then go back and see if your testosterone's increased again, and then you might get it. So it's just ridiculous that men can't get a natural hormone to make them feel good, but they'll prescribe all these other pharmaceuticals that are worse off. So.
But the funniest thing is, and you talk about older, younger, I'll just say this. Predominantly in world history, the man's always been older, and he's always died first.
Now it's younger.
But what and he dies first. The younger doesn't last anymore. It doesn't last.
No.
What I'm trying to say to you is, and you know when they talk about you go to another country to find like a wife,
Oh, yeah.
whatever country you
Thailand.
want, well, whatever country it is. No, but what I mean is, it does. Let's say, and men do go to other countries. Obviously, the women there aren't happy with they're treated, or they're looking for a stable mate.
Actually, but some of the women there, I think too, when you go to different cultures, there's still that type of woman that they're all into family, the husband.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if you're in Australia or America, if you say I'm a stay-at-home wife, it's almost frowned upon. Like, what? You don't want to get a job and do stuff for yourself? A lot of women just want to be housewives. They're happy to stay home, raise the kids if they can afford it, and just be that one that has the dinner on the table for when their man gets home. And so many women frown upon that now. It's like crazy. It's like even these trans men going into women's sports. Where's the women's rights people? Because that's a man. You could say you're a woman, like that one girl. She held the record for like 10 years in swimming. A man comes along, says he's a woman, he breaks all the records. Now, you think you're a young, it would have been like me, say I was swimming from the age of 12 and I had all these records and I'm a girl. And then all of a sudden now a guy who says he's a girl breaks all my records, I'd be like, my records are gone, I was beaten by a man. So I don't get why women's activists and that aren't speaking out against it, because these men are coming in, even in boxing. There's that one guy who was a ex-Navy SEAL, now he's a woman, he does UFC. I think he's broken like 3 ladies' jaws already and that. It's like, you can't do it. Like, even if they go on female hormones, their bone density, the muscle they already have, the strength they already have isn't going away. So it's just unfair. Look, if you want to compete, start a trans type, athletic type thing rather than...
Give us a third one.
It's just not fair.
We've got Olympics, disabled Olympics, give it a hand.
And what about that woman too, or the woman or the guy that now a woman, when she goes into the locker room, they say he just undresses in front of the girls and he's got his dick in that hanging out. Yeah. And some of the swimmers complained about it and they were told to go take educational classes to accept it. I'm like, no, if you're a father and your young daughter's in a change room and there's guys in there changing with their dick out, you don't want that. It's just ridiculous.
I just think guys, what I'm saying is guys do what guys do. We're not actually that happy. Don't be like us.
Yeah.
We're not actually that perfect. Are we? We're not even a perfect specimen. And what I'm saying is, but they're trying to be like us when we're not the perfect specimen. Actually,
but it just shows though that when men go into women's sports and men do that, that just proves that men are better at everything than women.
And that's not. And it's well,
that's true. It's they say we're equal. No, we're not, and we just proved it because these men who take female hormones and compete with women, they had that one women's soccer team, like the American soccer team, like the professional one. There was like a soccer team of kids in their teens and they beat them, males. So when you got the just normal kids team and they can take on a women's team, and then there was one where this one guy, he was like a professional player, only one of him, and he kicked goals against, he beat the whole team just by himself. So
yeah, it's a tough, like I said, you can't.
It's like they want to say we're equal, but we're not equal.
Look,
it's like men are naturally built stronger. Men are naturally meant to be the caretaker, the provider, the protector. I even know, like the other day, a couple of years ago now, I was out shopping. I hold a door open. I was always taught to hold a door open for a lady.
Of course you should.
I hold the door open. My wife walks through. Another lady comes. I hold the door. She looks at me and goes, "I can do that my fucking self." I'm like, what the fuck? It's like I should have slammed it in the face, but it's like...
Well, it's like walking on the outside of the curb. But you know what's funny? And a few more questions and we'll finish up. But the funniest is this. Do you know that when you send a man to war, 10 men to war, and you leave 10 women on shore, just one guy has to come back and he can reproduce again?
Yeah.
You send 10 women to war, 10 men are on the shore, and one woman comes back, that's the end of mankind. Only one woman can do so much, but with a man, and let's call it our seed, so we're expendable. That's what I'm trying to say. We can lose 9 men as long as we bring back one.
And if we're equal, why is it always women and children first? Fuck you, it's equal. I'm getting in the lifeboat. Fuck you.
Dennis Wolf chose you out of all the bodybuilding comparisons until he got to Joe Cutler.
I know. I said, did he make I heard him, Leslie's laughing. I said, did you trip up there a bit? Did you make a mistake? And then he said himself at the end over Jay. He's like, Jay, and then they said, you and Jay. He goes, me.
Well, there you go. We spoke about pros don't need to have their shirts off at the gym.
No.
What else? I'm just looking at here. Class of 2020 Muscle Beach Venice Hall of Fame. Yeah. Oh, plaque.
Yeah, I got on the...
You got the plaque there?
Yeah, down there on Venice Beach in history.
Yeah.
I always joke about it because there's Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, Joe Weider.
Yes.
I think I always make a joke saying tourists come down and go, it's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but this is the bodybuilders Walk of Fame. They were like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, oh my God, Lou Ferrigno, who the fuck's Lee Priest?
Who's Lee Priest? And an appreciation award from some fraternal order of police.
Yeah, because I've always supported police. I've got quite a few things from the police.
You wanted to be a police officer.
I got made an honorary Texan by George Bush. I got that on my wall at home. He signed the thing, and They're the sort of things they keep, things like that.
Yes.
And they got like a NABBA Hall of Fame and all those sort of things. So yeah, they're the main things they keep, the trophies, and they go.
So bodybuilders everywhere, interviews, podcasts, really do speak highly of you. And I think you said it, that makes you most proud. How do you feel about that? That you are you are kind of the most spoken bodybuilder.
I like it.
It can be by accident.
I don't say I don't like it like I pat myself on the back, but I think it's just a nice...
I think it's ego.
I think it's just like a nice mutual respect type thing and that, because sometimes I'll be like, oh... I think a lot of them agree with what I said back in the day, but they're too scared to speak out about it. So I think they know...
But I think as well, your body speaks more than your mouth, but your mouth is enough as
But
well.
even I think with my mouth, I think some might not like it, but they respect me for having the guts to say what I said and do what I did. They mightn't have done it themselves, but they respect me for doing it. So I think it's pretty good.
And I think that the fact is that you do have the body, but you had a mouth that was as big as the body. And I think that's what they appreciate.
Probably bigger.
Possibly so. All right. So where to now, Lee? Is it Star Wars? You're going to be a character on Marvel. Are you going to team up with Deadpool?
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Have you watched the movie?
I would. I'd love to get in a movie where, like, being a hero would be great, but I've always said I'd love to be the villain. You know, like, to me, like, Heath Ledger is the Joker, perfect villain. It's like, he's that bad, but you love him because he's sarcastic, he's funny. Those type of villains, like, there's a lot of movies where the villain is, even though he's bad, you want to see him win just because he's so crazy and pathetic and psychotic. So, yeah, I like to do something like that eventually. But if I do, there is another movie I could be in, a big blockbuster one being filmed in Australia. It was put on hold from COVID, but if that happens, it'll be good. It's going to be like, similar to like Boondock Saints type thing, where me and this other guy are sort of bad. We deliver drugs in this country town in a van and that, but the things we do are just funny. Like, we kill people, but it's more like accident. We're like, oh, fuck. That sort of thing. So it's sort of like a dark comedy action type.
You're a creative soul. I can see that, and you're also very there's humility in you, especially when it comes to animals and the way you care about them, and also what you do possibly behind the scenes and with the police and all that. So I think that's even bigger than your body and your mouth. But it seems like everyone's paying attention to your body, and then they really pay attention to your mouth. And I tell you, we've got some hook baits here, man. Let me tell you, I don't know if we can use them. We'll have to ask you.
You can use them all.
Thank you so much.
If I said it, you have permission to use it.
All right, thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Yvonne, the founder of Rock Creek.
I'm Steve, Muscle Talks podcast.
We're thrilled at Rock Creek to announce the fact that we're collaborating with Muscle Talks. We're really excited at the opportunity to present our hemp protein product range of pancake mixes and brownie mixes. We also have a fantastic range of toasted granolas and magnesium. So please come to rockcreek.com.au, go to our online store.
And while you're there, type in Muscle Talks 10 to get 10% off. Now go to rockcreek.com.au. If you don't mind, just quickly, can we just go over the body? Because everyone does. And just one exercise, and you can be a lazy one.
Okay.
And sets and reps. All right, so if I said traps.
Shrugs.
How many?
Well, the shrugs, I normally just go heavy until they burn. I never count them as reps. I just go until I can't do no more.
Yep. Side delts?
Lateral raises, normally sets 4, 6 to 8 reps.
Everyone's going to be listening to this. I love this. What about front delts?
Never did them, just presses. I never did front raises.
Okay. Rear delts?
Just either bent over dumbbells or a rear delt machine. Okay. 4 sets, maybe 10 to 12 reps.
Okay. Back? Any exercise?
I'd probably say like a seated row.
Seated row?
4 sets, 6 to 8 reps.
Okay. Chest?
Dumbbell presses, whether it be flat or incline, 6 to 8 reps, 4 sets.
Bicep?
Barbell curl, 6 to 8 reps, maybe 4 to 5 sets.
Tricep?
That could be push downs, weighted dips.
Yep.
6 to 8. The same amount of sets, 4 to 5.
It's funny, I just saw it this year, some people...
Quads, squatting, or leg press.
Forearms.
Never trained them.
Yeah, okay. Abs.
Yeah, normally just leg raises off the end of a bench, and then I don't count the reps, just go to you can't do anymore.
And quads? Quadging.
Yeah, squats or leg press.
Sets, reps?
Sets and reps, normally 5 to 6 sets and reps. Some days 6 to 8, some days I go a bit lighter and do 50 reps to 100 reps. So,
hammies?
Normally seated leg curl or laying leg curl, 12 to 15 reps, 4 to 5 sets.
Calves?
Normally body weight sometimes on a step at home, 4 sets, 100 reps every set.
Wow.
And then if I'm in the gym, like toe press on a leg press machine, 100 rep sets. Because everyone goes too heavy on calves and they do these little movements. I used to go to ballet with my sister, and I watched the male ballet dancers. Never use weight. They're just on the ball of their toe all the time, and they're like that. So sometimes the higher reps on calves stimulate them more than the heavy weight.
2 more. Tibialis. That's the fun
Never
one.
trained it.
All right, final glutes.
Fuck it.
Come on.
The only glute work I get is when I'm getting the prostate exam, or my wife is trying to peg me.
All right, where can we find you, Lee?
Under a bridge somewhere, like a troll. No, official. Is it official Lee Priest? I don't even know.
Something like that.
Official Lee Priest 72 on Instagram. I am on Facebook, but barely go there. Instagram's the main place you'll find me, if I'm not deleted again.
Lee, I told my son, and he was like, everyone's...
Who?
No, everyone knows you. And he's 18, and he couldn't believe I showed him some shots. No, like I said, this is a surreal moment, but like I feel like we're kind of, not that we're mates, I kind of know who you are, and I think we have a similar personality. I think you do a better job speaking out than I do, but I would back you all the way.
Oh, thank you.
So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we do one more filming? And that's, if you look at that, have you got a mental health tip, you reckon? The only reason is, you don't have to do it, but if you wanted to, it can just be for 10 seconds, you can say what you think is good for mental health.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a rough idea.
I'll give you what, if I looked at the camera, I would say this. Go for a walk. Walking is great. Go to the gym. Gym is great. And see a psychologist.
Yep.
That would be it, mate. So it's just your best mental health tip. Chris, when you're ready, go for it.
Well, for mental health, because I've been there when I was younger, I've tried to commit suicide a couple of times, cut my wrist when I was 19. So the main thing is, if you are in that position where you are feeling that way, the best thing is talk to someone, whether a psychiatrist, but even not a psychiatrist, if you've got a friend. We've all got friends around, so speak to someone. If you do feel that way, trust me, I sat there for like 2 hours. I made myself that depressed is when I cut my wrist. So you got to get out of that hole. Get out, go for a walk. Even though it sounds silly, sometimes even just having a pet, having a dog or a cat, because I've been, not anxiety, but there's been days I've been that way, and just, it's weird, just patting a cat, hearing the cat purr can relax you and stuff. But the main thing is, if you do feel that way, best thing is, the worst thing you can do is be alone, because if you're alone and you're in that dark space, you're only going to get more negative, and then if you hear a sad song, it takes you deeper down the rabbit hole. So the main thing is just to snap out of it somehow and get out, talk to someone. Don't think it's weak to talk to someone or do something, but the main thing is just, like I said, get out of the house. If you sitting inside is making it worse, get out of the house, text someone, call a friend, because I said, the first time I did when I cut my wrist, I'm thinking, okay, I went, cut it, and I'm like, well, fuck, that's not like the movies. It started bleeding, but I'm thinking in the movies it fucking does this. So I put the knife in again, and it stung that bad, it snapped me out of it. But I'm thinking, how lucky am I? If I had a gun, there would have been no second chance. So
What do you think brought you to that?
that's after I won a show, and they said came up positive on the drug test when I never used drugs. And then the IFBB wouldn't let me get a second drug test. They lost my B sample, and I was living out the back of a gym. I'm thinking, fuck, I should be pro now. I shouldn't be living out the back of a gym, eating baked beans out of a tin. So it's almost like I made myself get more depressed and more depressed to get the courage to do it type thing. So.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry it's never been really brought up. Or I'll just let you know, I suffered depression in the last 10 years, from 42 to 52. And the reason I suffered depression was they put me on antidepressants. Actually,
that's what I said. A lot of those make it worse.
And I actually admitted myself twice in hospital.
Yeah.
I actually fucking sat in the sidewalk. I sat in the worst was the public psych ward.
Yeah.
That's like a prison, first and foremost. Not that I'm saying. And then I decided, while I was fucked up in the brain, I got my private health fund up. And then I went to a private place, and I didn't come out better, but I persisted. I'm tenacious. I'm a real tenacious guy. And then I woke up, and I was back.
Yeah.
I was hungry.
That's the main thing, is like, you've got to have like some close friends, family, or anything, even if it's a pet, or even something else to just take your mind off it. Because like I said, if you sit there by yourself, that's the worst time, because you feel alone. Now you're like, I got no friends, I'm here by myself. And like I said, you start going down that rabbit hole, and like I said, you put on a sad song, it makes it worse, and you're just starting to think about the people you've lost, or friends you don't have, a relationship fucked up, and it just makes it worse and worse and worse. So if you start feeling like that, I just say, fucking remove yourself. Like if you're sitting at home doing it, just get out the house, go for a walk, just do something, talk to someone. It might be a stranger on the street, just say hi and talk to somebody.
Yeah, no, I love it. Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for opening up.